They've captured Lois. Lois, where are you?
Are all the bit parts already like assigned, or just someone jump in with them?
Yeah, I was just gonna jump in because like the little one-line ones that like unless if someone wants to hop on, like do the I think you should leave. If you could say it faster than anyone else, by all means hop in.
Can I be alien number 2?
I think alien number 2 is cast actually.
Yeah, I'm alien. I'm alien number 2. I think I have one line. There you go.
Hey, do I sound fine? Because my mic's a little far away.
Oh, you sound perfect to me. But
all right, cool, all good then. Then I don't have to lean in.
Do I sound okay?
Yeah.
Do I sound like my mic is garbage? Because it is.
I have that same mic. It's fine. Not here.
No, it sounds good actually.
There's Nathan.
Like I remember back in the day, like the mics that you would buy, like the cheap ones used to be real pieces of shit, but now you can get a decent cheap mic and they're actually not too bad.
But yeah, should we get rolling?
Yeah,
let's go.
Okay,
let's do this.
Oh, are we reading parentheticals? If we're doing
acting them out.
Oh, what do you mean, like
in between a line, it'll say like
sweaty and heavy breathing.
Or
yeah.
like
I assume that we're just acting it out.
Yeah,
we're on camera.
Just wanted to clarify.
Oh, no problem. Okay, well, so I'll just do a little intro and a little cast introduction here.
Are we recording?
Yeah, I think we're recording already. Yeah.
Oh no, I meant are we recording locally?
Oh no, you don't have to. No.
Okay.
I think you're okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's hope so.
Niall's not marrying all these tracks.
You're not gonna. It's not putting more work on him.
We're
crossing
get what we get.
If someone farts in the middle of this, it's staying, man.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Governor Caitlin Bree a female?
Yeah, if you want her to be. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not.
You're not gonna girlify your voice?
No.
Oh, if you think I'm doing Superman as a man.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I
just wanted to be on the same page. I didn't want anybody to be like, why aren't you doing the high voice? Because fuck you.
No, it's a bold choice. I like it.
Our female governor sounds so masculine.
Well, if anything, it's pro-trans rights. So
yeah, well, there you go.
There we are.
Perfect. Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah. But hello everyone who's watching this. Welcome to the Bat Minute Presents table read for Superman Lives. For people who want like a bit of context to what this is, there will be an accompanying Bat Minute episode explaining what this script is and where it comes from and whatnot. But if you want quick context, basically, if you've seen a picture of Nic Cage in a Superman suit floating around the internet, and you've heard stories of, Tim Burton was going to direct it and there was a giant spider in it and stuff, that's this movie, written by Silent Bob. And yeah, it's quite a hefty one. So we're going to press on, I think. But introduce the players here. We have as the Eradicator, Nathan Alexander from DC Cinematic Minutes.
Howdy. Are we doing? Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, you can say hello if you want as well. We have Rachel Gatlin as Cat Grant.
Hello.
Adam Sheehan as Perry White.
Hello.
We have Rob O'Connor as Jimmy Olsen.
Hi, guys.
We got Desmond Miller as Elron.
Hello.
And Travis Bowe as Brainiac.
Hello there. How are you?
Alex Thompson as Lex Luthor.
Hey, everybody. Thought I'll show you my voice once before getting into character.
Stephanie Palacino as Lois Lane.
Hi.
And Liz Whitaker as Clark Kent / Superman.
Hello. The perfect casting, right?
Well, we'll see.
It's #modern year. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, let's get going. So this is Superman Lives, written by Kevin Smith, March 27th, 1997. Exterior, space. An alien craft floats through the void, approaching a slow-moving asteroid. Interior, alien craft. 2 humanoid aliens dressed in uniforms pilot their craft nearer to the asteroid. Receiving a signal from an alien system, but there's interference on the channels.
Once we get past this asteroid, it should clear up.
Suddenly, through the windshield, we see tentacles shoot out of the asteroid. Exterior, space. The tentacles wrap themselves around the craft, and electrical energy courses between the pair. The asteroid reveals itself to be the Brainiac skull ship, a tentacled craft that looks like it sounds. A set of jaws protrude and puncture the hull of the small craft. It glows white hot with power. Interior skull ship, operating theater. We see a surgical table, its contents obscured by the shadows, save for the back of a malformed head. Computer banks and monitors are everywhere. A small robot works beside the table, implanting a cable into the back of the malformed head. It throws a switch. Raw energy blows through the cable, causing the patient to convulse and writhe, screaming. Close-up metallic shaft as it begins to reconfigure, taking the shape of an arm. We see the same happen to the other parts of his body. Hands, legs, facial features. Exterior space. The craft the skull ship holds then goes dark, the energy being sucked from it having run dry. Interior skull ship, operating theater. The patient stops convulsing as the cable attached to its head ceases to glow.
That was all? The energy the craft yielded?
The craft was a short ranger, my lord. I'm surprised that can had enough juice to give you this much form. We pulled 1.9 trigs out of it. There's nothing more to get.
An inaccurate assessment.
Interior small craft. The frightened aliens try to restart their craft. Motion detectors are picking up something breaching the hull. The doors melt. Brainiac enters. Humanoid in appearance, green-skinned, black-eyed, red-lipped, metallic, and bald. A series of metal relays crisscross his forehead. 3 solid circles intersected by straight lines. The aliens reach for their laser gatlings and fire, but they cause no damage. Brainiac instead grabs the weapons, jamming them into his body, consuming the lasers into his form, energizing. He drops the guns, and his hands morph into tendrils, which plunge into the chests of the terrified aliens. He absorbs their life forces, making them husks, at which point they explode, covering the cabin in goo. Brainiac inhales deeply, charged. Exterior space. The tentacles of the skull ship unravel from the wrecked craft. The skull ship powers up and thrusts into the void. Interior skull ship bridge. Brainiac watches space part before him on the view screen. Elrond joins him, holding a containment unit.
The cosmic irony, Elrond. I, who have destroyed a world, am now forced to subsist like a parasite. Once, infinite power was my manifest. Now, look at the pride of Golu. Feeble attempts to maintain even this meager anthropomorphic form.
Well, at least you have something. At least you have what passes for legs.
Brainiac gives Elrond a withering look.
What did your search of the craft yield?
Elrond holds up a containment jar, inside which scurries a multi-legged, fist-sized creature.
Thanagarian snare-based infancy stage. Illegal in 16 systems due to the advanced nature of the growth patterns outside of their own atmosphere. Add it to a menagerie.
Then a beacon sounds. On the main screen, scrambled letters and numbers appear, forming the distorted image of Lex Luthor, commanding, corporate, suave, bald, and ominous.
Greetings. This message, transmitted in over 100 languages, comes to you from Earth.
Brainiac regards the message curiously.
I am Lex Luthor, owner and CEO of LexCorp, a vast and powerful conglomerate that dominates trade on this planet. To whatever life form that may receive this, I extend an invitation to our world. Non-hostile and eager to establish contact with extraterrestrial races, Earth welcomes a visit from whomever receives this greeting. I myself call upon you to make contact so that we may establish relations, open trade routes.
Brainiac turns away, disinterested. Then the friendly greeting on screen turns darker.
And discuss any information you might have regarding a visitor to this planet of Kryptonian descent.
Brainiac snaps to attention, shocked recognition crossing his face.
My days scavenging are over. Elron, lock on to this transmission and follow it to this Earth he speaks of.
What for?
Jor-El's most accomplished creation, Elron, the Eradicator, still exists.
Brainiac's eyes glow with intrigue. Elron shrugs and begins entering coordinates. Lex's message continues on screen.
From one superior intellect to another, whomever or whatever you may be, I implore you to come to Earth so that we might discuss the problem we call
Interior Television Studio. A close-up of a stiff-looking telejournalist fills the screen.
Superman, friend to Earth or hindrance? Tonight, we take a closer look at the Man of Steel.
We're in a television studio. While the Nightline-like opening logos play, cameras whirl and reposition. Then,
does the existence of a seemingly godlike vigilante impact the world positively or negatively? Examining this with us tonight is LexCorp CEO and Metropolis's second most well-known figure, Lex Luthor.
Seated across from the host, Lex Luthor winces at the introduction. Looking far more congenial than he did in his clip above the skull ship, Lex is in his public persona.
Mr. Luthor, you've been the most vocal proponent of the Wortham Act, the bill that seeks to outlaw costume vigilantes in the greater metropolitan area. Given that Superman is the sole individual who could fall under this criteria, the question begs asking, why so much distrust for the Man of Tomorrow?
I'm no enemy of Superman, Ted. Quite the contrary. I find his flair for fashion and whimsical abilities very David Copperfield. Such a crowd-pleasing showman who makes Metropolis his home is a boon for the tourist trade. But I do question the good that Superman represents for the human race, beyond entertainment value.
Such as?
Well, aiding the planet at every turn against war, famine, natural disaster for starters. It represents a complete freeze on the evolutionary process. And what of his more immediate effects on our society? Having Superman make his home in Metropolis is a veritable call to arms for any psychotic with dreams of world domination. The Wortham Act would be a deterrent to those who might consider jumping into a pair of tights and challenging the Man of Steel to a battle royale right here on the streets of our fair city.
An interesting position, Mr. Luthor, but one that I'm sure your opposition will refute. We welcome city beat reporter for the Daily Planet, Lois Lane.
Lois sits beside Lex, beautiful yet poised, even though she looks thoroughly pissed.
This proposed act, which even Metropolis's own Governor Bree opposes, is nothing more than Lex's one-man crusade against Superman. Outlawing the Man of Steel would be like removing the soul of this city. I mean, can anyone even remember what Metropolis was like before Superman arrived?
As I recall, there were less red, white, and yellow souvenir stands. Miss Lane, have you ever been able to look past your blind allegiance to this off-worlder to think that maybe he employs criminals to improve his PR? For all we know, they're on his books.
In Salem, it was a witch hunt. In Hollywood, it was the Red Scare. Leave it to your fertile imagination to come up with Cape Gate.
The vehement defense you put up for him. I'd say the only thing fertile around here is someone's hopes of carrying a super brat one day.
That's it.
Lois jumps Lex, who tumbles back in his chair. She begins laying into him as the host leans into the frame, addressing the TV audience.
We'll be right back.
Fade to a commercial. In an open field, a woman spins a small boy in her arms.
Family is the bottom line behind every decision she makes, yours or hers. In November, vote with your heart.
The chyron at the bottom of the screen reads, paid for by the committee to re-elect Governor Bree, as the visual locks on the small boy in her arms. Cut to exterior Hobbs Bay Street, day. The same small boy exits a bistro, holding the hands of his mother, Governor Caitlin Bree. They are flanked by Secret Service men. Paparazzi and telejournalists, including Cat Grant, converge on them, snapping photos.
Madam Governor, how was the meal?
Excellent. This bistro is the first major step in the revitalization of Metropolis's historic Hobbs Bay.
Do you think the redevelopment project can change the public's perception of this area as a suicide slum?
If the meal was any indication, I'd say absolutely.
How about it, Brody? What do you think of the bistro's food?
It was the best of spaghetti I had in my whole life.
The journos laugh. The governor kisses her son's head and hugs him, then turns back to the cameras.
I want Metropolitans to know that there is no danger in Hobbs Bay.
Suddenly, across the street, the side of the building explodes, raining debris on the crowd. The governor covers her son. 5 crudely masked thugs pour from the hole in the building, opening fire, sending people running. Then, from the still smoking blast hole, Deadshot emerges, clad completely in silver and red, featureless, save for the glowing red gun sight covering his right eye. The Secret Service men covering the governor draw their guns. Deadshot takes aim with his wrist revolvers and shoots the pieces from their hands. The thugs clear a path for their leader. The governor looks up to see Deadshot standing over her.
This city will not bow down to terrorism of any kind.
Maybe not.
He drops the governor and grabs the boy by his collar.
But I'm sure you will, won't you, Mom?
Deadshot holds his wrist revolver to the scared boy's head. A crimson laugh echoes out from behind his mask. Exterior, Daily Planet building rooftop, day. We still hear Deadshot's laugh, but from someone else's perspective, a super hearing perspective. A very familiar pair of boots step to the edge of the building, then steps off, disappearing in a flash of red. Exterior, Hobbs Bay Street, day. A sonic boom fills the air. Deadshot looks to thug number 1.
Tell me that was your stomach.
High above, a streak of red descends at a rapid rate, rocketing into the pavement, leaving a hole in the ground.
Oh, shit.
The street beneath their feet explodes, and the same red streak flashes past Deadshot, taking with it the boy in the blink of an eye. All immediately mobilize.
Grab the broad and let's get out of here.
The thugs grab the governor as a van screeches up. Exterior, top of building, day. The boy is set down lightly on the roof. He opens his eyes, which then go wide. Before him stands Superman, 90s style, licking his hand.
Spaghetti. You okay?
Can we do that again?
First, I gotta go beat up the bad guys.
My mom thinks you're cute.
That's why I voted for her.
Superman winks and leaps into the air, disappearing. Interior van, day. The governor under Deadshot's gun, thug number 1, revs the engine. Suddenly, through the windshield, Superman explodes up through the hood of the van, adorned in engine parts.
Get out there and ventilate him.
Exterior, Hobbs Bay Street, day. Superman pulls himself from the van and hurls the engine at 2 of the thugs. The remaining 3 open fire. The bullets bounce from Superman's chest. Exterior, space, somewhere over Earth. The skull ship slinks into our atmosphere. Interior, skull ship. On the view screen, Brainiac and Elron watch Superman fight the masked thugs.
Ugh, do they all dress like this on this planet?
That symbol on his chest. It's a seal, the scientific office from Krypton. It's the Kryptonian.
It can't be. Kryptonians were never known to manifest above average strength or invulnerability.
Perhaps he derives his power from the Eradicator.
I don't know. He's not wearing any technology.
Get us to this Lex Luthor of Earth. Now.
Cut to exterior Hobbs Bay Street, day. As bullets bounce off Superman's chest, the Man of Steel's eyes glow red. 2 heat beams sear into the machine gun in the hands of one of the thugs. The gun glows red and the thug drops it. Superman repeats this with the 4 remaining thugs until they're all disarmed, waving their hands in the air to cool them, looking as if they're waving goodbye. Superman waves goodbye at them. Then we hear,
"Hey, Boy Scout."
Deadshot's POV through gunsight. Superman turns, his face falling into the crosshairs. Deadshot, holding the governor, fires a single kill shot. Superman's head jerks backwards and pauses momentarily. When he brings his dead forward, typo, we see the bullet is caught in his teeth. He rocket spits the bullet out, which hits Deadshot's wrist revolver, throwing the villain's arm back away from the governor. In a flash of red, Superman is in front of Deadshot, shaking his head.
Look at your outfit. What is this? Gotham?
He grabs Deadshot's wrist revolver and then finger flicks the villain in the head, knocking him out. People emerge from the bistro, cheering as the terrorists are collected by the authorities. Superman dusts the governor off and nods at her.
Madam Governor?
He disappears in a flash and a gust of wind, then reappears holding the boy.
Your most important constituent.
The governor hugs first her son, then Superman.
Thank you, Superman.
Superman blushes slightly, rubs the boy's head, and walks away. He glances down at Deadshot's wrist revolver. Superman's X-ray vision POV. We first see the weapon, then through the weapon and into the components that make it tick. Zoom in on a set of microscopic serial numbers etched into a tiny chip. Back to scene. Superman shakes his head and sighs.
What a shock, Luthor.
The wrist revolver explodes in his hands. He drops it to the ground where it continues to burn. Exterior, GBS building, night. Lex exits the building, flanked by Misty, his gorgeous but lethal bodyguard. He holds a small ice pack to his cheek.
Can't believe the bitch tagged me. What do I pay you for?
Then Jimmy Olsen shows up, out of breath. He looks at Lex, panting, then nods to Luthor Shiner.
Oh, Superman?
Lex seethes as Lois emerges from the building.
It was the Joker, Jimmy. He was mad that Luthor stole his act.
I thought journalists were supposed to be impartial.
I thought humanitarians were supposed to be human. Takes a pen and pad. Care to comment?
Pithy to the last.
Lex hurries to his limo.
Pithy. Who uses that word anymore?
Chief wants you back at the planet, Miss Light. Something big just broke out at Hobbs Bay.
Superman?
There and gone.
They climb into the taxi that pulls up. Interior, Lex's limo, night. Lex puffs on a cigar, sipping brandy from a snifter. He clicks on the TV news, which shows Superman at Hobbs Bay. Lex goes white hot and wide-eyed with rage. Up front, Misty rolls her eyes. Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Lex exits his limo and marches bitterly towards the LexCorp building, followed by Misty.
6 months of planning and all for nothing. With Governor Bree in line, I could have taken back control of this city from that alien.
Interior, elevator, night. Metropolis sinking behind him. Lex watches the digital numbers rise, seething. Then the elevator stops abruptly. Misty catches Lex, setting him upright again. Suddenly, the hatch at the top of the elevator is ripped off. A blue-clad arm reached in, pulling Lex out. Interior, elevator shaft. Superman holds Lex in his grip.
5th floor, hair care products.
One of these days, they're going to pass the Wortham Act, and then one of these nights, I'll be able to blast your pajama-clad ass out of the sky, legally.
Speaking of acts of violence, did you hear the one about Hobbs Bay? See, this guy wants to get his anti-Superman bill passed, so he hires a few masked goons to threaten the governor to speed the bill along.
Lex yawns slightly as if bored.
But here's the punchline. He's got such a big ego, he demands that a serial number from his company show up somewhere on the hardware he provided his hired mercenaries, thus implicating him in a federal offense. Isn't that a gutbuster?
Lex arches his eyebrows slightly. Then a pissed Superman yanks Luthor to him, bringing them face to face.
I'm putting you behind bars.
No proof. Loaded hardware with self-destructs, triggered by the radiation waves of your X-ray vision.
Superman glares at Lex, knowing he's right.
Then maybe I should save the courts of Metropolis the time. Make myself the judge, jury.
Superman hooks his foot under a bar on the elevator and starts towing the car up the shaft at an alarmingly fast rate.
And especially executioner.
Luthor looks up. Luthor's POV. The fast approaching top of the shaft, jagged and deadly. If his head so much as touches it, he's a dead man. Lex panics as the top of the shaft gets closer. Superman nonchalantly checks the nails on his free hand. The ceiling gets closer. Lex jams his eyes shut. Then Superman stops, thus stopping the car as well. Luthor's head is a half-inch from a nasty spike. He opens his eyes slowly, looking from the spike to Superman.
You're hardly worth the effort.
He drops Lex and disappears in a burst of red. Exterior, space. The skull ship slips into Earth's orbit menacingly. Exterior, Daily Planet building, night. The globe spins atop Metropolis's once largest skyscraper. Lex built his bigger. All the windows arc dark except one, and through it we see Lois. Interior, Daily Planet city room, night. Lois, alone at her desk, types on her laptop. In the midst of the tapping her fingers create against the keys, another pitch of tapping joins in. Lois spins around to see Superman floating outside the window. Lois trips over a desk or two, rushing to the window.
Superman.
Evening, Miss Lane. Late night.
I'm just filing my piece on Hobbs Bay. Nice bit of work there.
Superman flies in, settling down beside a desk. The nameplate on the desk says Clark Kent.
Mr. Kent's desk?
This is Mr. Kent's fastidiously immaculate workstation. I call it Smallville Central.
Oh, he's not around tonight?
Thankfully, no. If I had to withstand Clark Kent day and night, I'd be at my therapist twice a week as opposed to one.
Doesn't take a super sense to detect a little friction there. Not a fan of Mr. Kent, Miss Lane?
Clark's Clark, you know. He's great and all, don't get me wrong, but is kind of a Dudley Do-Right. It's hard for me to relate to a man like that.
And why is that?
Lois looks him dead in the eyes. The costumed Adonis gives it back as good as she's giving. Lois slams down the lid of her laptop and stands up.
Well, Superman, I'm not into all that Kansas Boy Scout babble. I'm the kind of woman who likes a man in tights.
And Lois plants one on Superman, long and passionate. Superman breaks the kiss and steps back.
Miss Lane, I have something to tell you.
He pulls Clark's glasses from his cape and slips them on.
I'm really Clark Kent.
Lois goes wide-eyed and faints. Superman rushes forward and catches her. Then she opens her eyes and shakes her head.
Really, Clark? Must we go through this every night?
They kiss. He brings her back to her feet.
Nice job with the bad guys, babe. I was proud of you.
Smallville Central, who calls it that?
Try everybody, Clark, even Jimmy.
And I loaned that kid $20 last week. Ungrateful slacker. How about dinner?
Not Burger King again. Let's just eat at my place.
Why, Miss Lay, you underestimate me. I was thinking a more monumental dinner.
Interior, Lex's office, night. The nerve center of LexCorp. A bank of monitors with a vast array of channels adorns one wall, over which hangs an alarmingly increasing digital readout titled Acres of LexCorp Cleared Rainforest. In the center of the room, a monolithic desk backlit by a large picture window. Misty sits on the couch reading a magazine. Lex enters, fuming, covered in grease. He puts up his hand.
Don't ask. Just draw me a bath.
Misty heads off for the huge sunken marble tub at the far end of the office and runs the water, while Lex crosses to his desk. He passes the bank of TVs, all of which detail Superman's Hobbs Bay endeavor. He pours himself a drink and sits, not noticing Elron resting atop the desk.
Greetings.
Lex goes wide-eyed at the robot and leaps from his chair.
Bomb!
Grabbing the robot, Lex charges by Misty and hurls Elron into the tub. He dives onto the floor, hands over his head, awaiting the blast. After a beat, he looks up. Elron slowly rises from the tub. It discharges water from its circuits and sputters.
Go with entrance B.
Then the picture window explodes. Brainiac glides in, godlike, much to Luthor's shock. Misty leaps in front of her boss/lover as alarms sound.
Lex Luthor of Earth. I am Brainiac.
A pair of LexCorp soldiers burst through the doors.
Kill it!
The soldiers open fire at Brainiac. He absorbs the bullets, then pulls his energy suck maneuver from the first scene. Lex and Misty stare wide-eyed.
I come to discuss Kryptonian you mentioned in your homing message.
Clean up what's left of those guys.
Misty nods, backing away. Lex and Brainiac eye each other cautiously until Lex motions towards his desk. Brainiac follows, but stops short at Lex's impressive computer setup. He seems astonished.
This technology.
Brainiac sharply raises his hand between he and Lex. Lex startles a bit as Brainiac's hand then reconfigures into something that he inserts into the computer. Downloading sounds are heard as Brainiac cocks his head as if sampling wine.
Lex Tech Prime. My computers division builds these things. It's the most cutting edge, the most sophisticated, the most
primitive, ancient.
Brainiac extracts his appendage, which reconfigures anew.
Yes, well, you obviously know whereof you speak.
This Kryptonian you mentioned. I know of him as well.
Unit 9, full display.
The image on the monitors align into the single visual of Superman in action from earlier that day.
He's my mortal enemy, the object of my ire. You're not a friend of his, by any chance, are you?
Where I come from, we destroy that which impedes our progress. Why have you not done the same?
Kill Superman? Look, I've had everyone who was ever a thorn in my side done away with. From my third grade teacher to my third wife, nothing eases friction like pow. Know what I'm saying? Superman would have been dead as white weddings if it weren't for the fact that he's from Krypton, wherever the hell that is, which means he can't be killed.
I watched Krypton die screaming. Lex Luthor, invulnerable, is something its inhabitants weren't. He is aided by technology of some sort, a machine.
Far as we can tell, Pinocchio has no strings.
Then it's his chemistry. It must be affected by this planet. Radioactive shards of our world would be toxic to a system.
Kryptonite.
Brainiac whirls back.
I've spent the last 2 years and millions of LexCorp dollars trying to synthesize the stuff. You know what it yielded?
Lex reaches into a drawer and pulls out a pottery shell covered in mossy grass.
The Chia Pet.
Lex places it on his desk beside a model of a space station with large mirror panels. Brainiac analyzes the model curiously.
One of LexCorp's long-range goals, a solar conductor. One of these days, this puppy's going to make me a multi-billionaire, going to draw energy directly from the sun's surface and sell it to the masses.
Brainiac presses something on the model and huge gun turrets pop out with accompanying cannons. Lex smiles.
That's the long-range goal, a massive solar-powered cannon.
As Lex speaks, Brainiac's attention is drawn from the model to the footage of Superman in action, then back to the model. A plan begins formulating.
We're thinking concentrated sunbeams might fry a hole through the man of steel. It's a stretch, but a guy's got to have a dream.
Blasting him with solar beam will only enhance his power. This world is fueled by the light of a yellow sun, is it not?
Last time I checked, why?
Krypton, too, was fueled by a sun, a red sun. The actual construct of this, is it operational?
Maybe in 20 years, but for what it's worth, it's up there already.
Surrender it to me. I'll augment it with my own technology. Provide me with this, and you will not only have your solar conductor 20 years ahead of schedule, but this Superman will be, pow, as you say.
All the capital, material, and technologies of my company are at your service, if you can kill Superman. You accomplish that, and to this planet's inhabitants, I'll make you a god.
Exterior Lex Tech Dynamics, night. A radar dish configures as we hear, Mr. Luthor, you can't do this. Interior Lex Tech Dynamics control room, night. A scientist, Schuster, argues vehemently with Lex as Misty oversees the technician.
Who pays the bills here, Schuster? I want the solar conductor reconfigured to these coordinates.
But it's not durable enough to travel this far out of Earth's orbit. Lex nods to Misty, who puts the kibosh on Schuster, dropping him to the floor. Lex glares at the technician, who feverishly works on his computer.
I would never presume to tell you your business, but it seems you're trading one alien for another.
Never trust anyone with the stones to call himself Brainiac. I equipped that rocket we gave him with a diagnostic scanner that'll get me a complete breakdown of what makes him and his technology tick. And when we have that, LexCorp will be the most powerful corporation in the world.
Because Superman will be gone?
Because I'll have harnessed the capabilities of an artificial intelligence so advanced it can hold a conversation with people, not to mention the computers that make up the defense system of every NATO nation on Earth.
An extortion racket.
The extortion racket, my dear.
Exterior space. The solar conductor, a huge version of the model, powers up. It rockets deeper into the stars. We pan down from those stars to see exterior, Mount Rushmore, night. A nice view of the presidentially sculpted mountain. On top of Washington's head, we see a small fire burning. Exterior, Mount Rushmore, atop Washington's head, night. Clark and Lois sit in a blanket, looking out over the vista. There's a campfire going, and the remnants of their dinner lay strewn about the open picnic blanket. Lois sips wine from a glass. Clark drinks orange juice.
Monumental. You're such a goof.
Thank Pa for that. He was the punster of the family. Ma's the one who taught me to cook, though.
Ma also teach you how to reheat chicken with your eyes?
Some things a boy has to learn on his own.
Did it ever bother you being the adopted child, never knowing your real parents?
If I ever did, it was only because I couldn't help but feel my destiny might have been stolen from me.
How so?
I'd start wondering what I was supposed to do in life. What would I be like if Krypton hadn't, who were my parents? Would I have ever left the planet? Would I have ever come to Earth? Would I have ever met you?
No, but you'd probably still read me. You'd say to yourself, if I could only be half the writer this Lois Lane of the planet Earth is.
I know it sounds silly. Where do I get off complaining? Me, the guy who's faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive. What's the last one?
Something about tall buildings.
Right. But all that aside, I'm just a person, you know? I have the what ifs like everyone else. What if I'd grown up under a red sun and never had these powers?
Who would save me again and again and again and again?
Somehow I doubt you'd have any trouble getting along without me.
Trouble? No. Fun? Yes.
They kiss deeply as we cut to interior skull ship. Brainiac and Elron watch the solar conductor on their view screen.
Launch the hybrid technology.
Elron presses a button on the control panel. Interior rocket cargo hold. Technology extremely alien in appearance fills the cargo hold. It begins vibrated, then explodes. Growing out of the smoke, it spreads through the cargo hold and exterior space, out through the rocket seams. It consumes the rocket from within, covering it in biometallic tendrils. In the midst of the solar conductor, an Earth-made rocket labeled LexTech 37 grows white hot with energy. Then lasers burst out of it from all sides, striking and bouncing off the mirrors of the solar conductor, creating a net across the miles-wide diameter. The net begins to slowly prevent sunlight from passing through. The light that shone on Earth now fades slightly as Brainiac's Shadowcaster goes to work. Exterior, Mount Rushmore, night. Packing up, Clark doubles over slightly, as if suddenly woozy. He rights himself and shakes it off, smiling.
Indigestion. Maybe I didn't cook the chicken long enough.
You know what I was just thinking about? The rocket, the one you told me brought you to Earth. Whatever happened to it?
It's at the fortress.
Ah, the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Do you ever study it? Try to learn something more about where you came from? About your parents even?
I know all I'm ever going to know. There was a planet, it blew up, end of story. I'd rather dwell on the present and the future, which is something I'd like to talk to you about.
No, let's talk about flying home and going to bed. We both have work tomorrow.
Why do you always get like this when I try to talk about where our relationship is going? All I'm saying is that I love you.
And I love you too.
And I'd like to talk about something more permanent.
Lois's eyes.
Sorry, I'm reading myself. Good.
Lois's eyes go wide. She stares at him for a beat, then looks down.
You know, the first time I heard about you, I thought you were a hoax. Flying Manstun City? The paper said, yeah, right. I said, but then I said, yeah, right. I said, but then I saw you land that down shuttle on your back. And in that moment, every jaded bone in my body believed that a man could fly. The first time I met you as Clark, I thought you were the squarest hick to ever escape Kansas. But when you called me Miss Lane, you were so polite and even gallant that even made me feel like a princess. The first time you told me about your other job, there was a moment of shock, and then it all made sense. Who else but Clark Kent could care so much about people he didn't even know? And the first time we kissed, I knew it was you. You were the person I'd stopped believing in years before the one my mother told me about. And the first time you left me in the middle of the night to rescue that luxury liner, I knew that you didn't belong to me. You belonged to the world. She steps back and looks at him. Oh, sorry, I read myself again.
Lois.
Your responsibilities are huge. I can't possibly expect you to divide your time between a wife and the world. What about children, if that's even possible?
I could slow down, pace myself.
And feel the weight of a death on you, of a death you couldn't prevent because you were too busy bringing the kids to the video store?
Lois shakes her head sadly. Clark's eyes are downcast, her words truer than he can bear.
There's nothing I want more than to share a life with you, but I won't settle for half a life.
Clark takes it in somberly. Then he lifts his head as if listening to something far away.
There's a plane in trouble over Paraguay. Lois.
Go ahead. Just don't forget to come back for me.
Clark becomes a blur that turns into Superman. He leaps off the cliff. Exterior, space, continuous. The Shadowcaster seals off a large section of sunlight. Exterior, Mount Rushmore, continuous. Suddenly, Superman is struck as if shot. He falters in midair and falls against the edge of a cliff. Lois shrieks and grabs his hand, catching him in the nick of time. Superman looks up at her, wide-eyed. He throws his other hand up to Lois. She digs her heels into the ground and pulls as Superman climbs up to safety. As Superman climbs up to the safety of the level ground. He collapses to his hands, knees, breathing heavily. Lois is on top of him, checking his pulse, feeling his head.
God, Clark, are you okay? What happened? Was it kryptonite?
It wasn't a toxic reaction. It was something else.
We've got to get you home.
I'll be okay. That plane won't if I don't leave now.
Are you out of your mind? You almost fell off a cliff, Clark.
Superman gently extracts his cape from her grip. Touching her face, he then lifts off the ground, hanging there, apparently back to normal. He shrugs at her and disappears in a flash of red, leaving behind a worried Lois. Exterior, space, night. The skull ship looms through the vacuum of night. Interior, skull ship control room, night. Brainiac punches some buttons in the specs on the Eradicator. Brainiac punches some buttons, and the specs on the Eradicator fill the screen.
But how do you know the Eradicator will even show up? It's been years, my liege. The technology could be ancient history by now.
Interior, menagerie, night. Doors hiss open, and they enter the vast menagerie, a zoological collection of various species collected during Brainiac's journey through the cosmos. Brainiac heads to one in particular, a knee-high translucent tube filled with what looks like the contents of a lava lamp. Brainiac opens the case, extracting an embryonic protoplasmic life form. It looks harmless, if ugly, letting out a meager yowl. He places it into a missile-looking tube, sealing it closed.
Jor-El was no fool. He would not have sent his only child to an alien world without the protection the Eradicator would provide. The technology is out there, Elron, and absorbing it will provide me with enough power to both maintain my body permanently and make me a god.
Right. Let's kill the cape.
A hole opens in the wall, and Brainiac slides the tube into it. He pushes a large button on the panel. Exterior, skull ship, night. The tube rockets from the rear of the ship and heads towards Earth. Exterior, Metropolis Park, night. The capsule rockets into the atmosphere and pierces the ground, embedding itself deep within the Earth, unseen. Exterior, Daily Planet Building, day. The streets of Metropolis bustle below as we hear...
One more time, Olsen, in English, please. How do we get those shots again?
Interior, Perry White's office. Close up, computer monitor. We scroll through photos of the Hobbs Bay incident.
Like I said, Chief, I'm wired.
Pull back to reveal Clark and Lois sitting in front of Perry's way too busy desk, watching Jimmy clicking on a mouse pad. Perry White, the planet's venerable old editor, watches, befuddled.
I'm like to thousands of other photojournalists around the world. We exchange images all the time.
Jump into the cyber pool with the rest of us, Mr. White.
And we're allowed to run these pictures?
Free and clear with a photo credit.
Get a break, Perry. He's all about the paper.
Lois, my office. My office.
Lois works here under the assumption it's hers as well.
Eat it, Smallville.
All right, Olsen, you can keep your computer thing up. Now, Vamoose.
Jimmy shuffles by Lois, who pats him on the back. Perry slumps in his chair.
Down to brass tacks. What have either of you got?
The top Lex Tech scientist, Dr. Schuster, went missing last night.
Got a call from a technician who said that Schuster and Lex got into a heated argument over the altered trajectory of that Lex Tech experimental space station.
The one Lex has yet to disclose the purpose of to NASA? What else?
The boys in weather fed me this one. Seems that Dawn was 11 minutes behind schedule this morning.
Cause?
Substantiated rumors of something spotted by the fellows up at the observatory. Sounds like a story up Smallville's alley.
I believe Mr. White gives out the assignments here, Laney.
Don't call me that.
Then don't call me Smallville.
The phone rings. Perry pounces on it.
White, go. What? I'll be right there.
Hangs up.
Both of you stay here and hash out who gets the space thing. I'll be right back.
Perry storms out of his office, leaving Clark and Lois alone. There is some silence. Then,
I'm sorry I didn't stay over last night.
I'm an adult, Clark. I'm not throwing a hissy just because you missed my sleepover.
I'm having a hard time understanding what I said that was so wrong.
You didn't say anything wrong, Clark. You said everything a woman spends her whole life waiting for a man to say to her.
Then why your reaction? Why this distance?
Because you're not a man, Clark. You're a god.
Clark attempts to say something, but pauses. He listens to seemingly nothing. Exterior, Metropolis Park. From the hole in the ground the pod made, smoke begins to rise ominously. There's a rumbling sound. Interior, Perry White's office, day. Clark is still listening. Lois looks at him, puzzled.
What is that?
Interior, Daily Planet City Room, day. Journalists look up from their keyboards as the room begins to shake. Exterior, Metropolis Park. The ground shakes. Thunderous roars emit from the hole. Interior, Perry White's office, day. Lois looks slightly panicked. Clark unbuttons his collar.
Earthquake?
Can't be. I checked the crustal plates just last month.
Interior, Metropolis sewer system. At a dank and dripping cross section, a pair of sewer workers check a pipe that's broken loose. The tunnel begins to shake violently, and the sewerage begins bubbling. The workers look at it, then head for the manhole. Suddenly, something erupts from the muck, looming huge in the shadows behind the fleeing workers. Whatever it is pulls them beneath the sewage. Exterior, Metropolis Park, day. Suddenly, the ground explodes, throwing passers-by flying, leaving a 6-foot crater. Interior, Perry White's office, day. Perry bursts in as Clark quickly rebuttons his collar.
There's a report of an explosion in the sewer beneath Metropolis Park.
We're on it, Chief.
She pulls Clark out of the office at a speedy clip. Exterior stairwell, day. The door flies open and Lois and Clark rush in. Lois slams the door closed behind her.
Sounds like a job for...
I want you to do me a favor. Whatever you do, stay away from Metropolis Park. I've got a bad feeling about this.
I've got a good feeling that whatever it is news. And me being a journalist.
Lois, no.
Lois looks into his eyes. He seems almost afraid.
Last night, the cliff.
You slipped, Clark, that's all.
But it happened when I grabbed the plane, too. Something didn't feel right. My strength. Just please stay put until I know everything's all right.
Go find a phone booth.
Clark dashes away, taking the stairs 2 at a time, then 5. In the blur that travels at more than human speed down flight after flight, the colors that emerge from the gray of Clark's suit are the familiar blue and red. Exterior Daily Planet building, day. Through the revolving doors shoots the Man of Steel, creating a sonic boom in his wake, sending the papers, trash, and hair of Metropolitans flying. Exterior Metropolis Park, day. Superman arrives at the crater. He looks into the darkness. Then he hears something above. Exterior space. The Shadowcaster seals off another section of sun. Exterior Metropolis Park, day. Superman looks down again, then up. He's about to leap into the air to investigate the sound from above. Suddenly, 2 gray, meaty paws erupt from the earth, pulling Superman underground. Interior sewer tunnel, day. Superman emerges from the muck, spitting out waste. He wipes his eyes clean and looks up to see an unearthly monster, ferocious and gray in appearance, leathery skin pockmarked with rock-like protrusions. Doomsday has arrived. The beast leaps at the Man of Steel. The pair begin their fight, throwing punches and kicks. Doomsday grabs Superman by his cape and swings him through the side of the tunnel. Doomsday pulls aside concrete, giving himself a clear passage into the other tunnel, when Superman appears from nowhere, uppercutting the tremendous beast, sending him flying. Exterior Metropolis Park, day, through the crater, into the park. Superman shoots out of the hole behind him, landing beside the beast.
Clear out of here, now!
Doomsday kicks Superman in the back, but Superman rallies. Interior skull ship. On the main screen, we see the combatants fighting.
He's incredible. He just keeps going.
I call it Doomsday.
Not that thing. Superman, look at him battle.
Brainiac offers the little robot a dour expression. Elron deflates. Brainiac pushes a button on the control board.
I wouldn't lay wagers on the Kryptonian just yet.
Exterior space. The Shadowcaster goes full throttle, completely cutting off what little sunlight was seeping out. Exterior Metropolis, day. The sun, eclipsed by Brainiac's device, disappears, plunging the earth and the city into the darkness of moonlight. Interior Daily Planet building, night. Lois and Jimmy watch from the windows. The city room's in a panic. Perry joins them.
Aye, it's only noon. What's going on with the sun?
This just came in from government weather satellites.
The photos show the Shadowcaster in its dormant and operative mode.
I can only hope Kent's out there covering this. The same place you should be, although from a safe distance.
But Chief, I promised.
Olsen, you go with her. I want some candids of whatever this thing is Superman's fighting.
I'm on it, Chief. Come on, this lad.
Jimmy drags Lois out. Perry calls after them.
And hurry. If I know the Man of Steel, this rumble's going to be over before it started.
Exterior Metropolis Park, night. Superman takes a hit from Doomsday and goes stumbling backwards. He pauses and notices the fading sunlight. Then it dawns on him. His power source is being cut off. Doomsday plows into him. Superman fights back valiantly, but knows that he's being depleted. He begins to falter. Doomsday grabs him and hurls Superman back into the hole. Interior sewer system. Superman lands, and Doomsday is on him anew, holding Superman in a headlock. Superman flips Doomsday off his back and drop kicks him down into the tunnel, out of sight. Then we hear a high-pitched shriek sounding. Superman winces, the sound filling his head. The shriek fades, and we hear tapping as if on a microphone. And
Is this thing on? Hello, Blue Boy. It's your better, Luthor, speaking to you from a frequency that only superhearing can detect.
interior Lex's office, night. Lex looks out upon the prematurely darkened metropolis, a microphone in his hand.
Things don't look too good for you, alien. It seems I've finally found your Achilles heel, the Earth's yellow sun.
Exterior sewer drop-off drain. Superman enters cautiously.
Without it, you're not that impressive. Look at you, alone, beaten, Nearly broken? Where are all the good people you've put your neck on the line so many times for? You'd think they'd return the favor.
Then Doomsday drops from the ceiling, crushing the Man of Steel. They fight through the current, heading off toward the drop-off. Superman pulls himself from D-Day's grasp, but Doomsday double fists the floor, shaking the ceiling loose, which comes down around Superman, pinning him. Doomsday winds up and gives Superman a right hook, sending him falling into the churning muck below. Exterior Metropolis streets. Lois slides across a cab's hood, rushing towards the park. She muscles through the crowds that keep their distance. Interior sewer drop-off. Doomsday studies the muck below. Superman explodes from the sewage, howling up at Doomsday in a flash, catching him with his fists. The pair, exterior Metropolis streets, shoot through the pavement, spraying debris everywhere. Superman goes ballistic, racing at the beast anew, pummeling him. But Doomsday rallies back, throwing punches that actually draw blood. The Man of Steel drops to his knees, Lex's voice still filling his head.
You'd think the solar energy that you store would last longer, wouldn't you? I mean, you fly at night, and there's no sun then. Why are you weakening now? Apparently, soaring through the sky, catching muggers, and rustling the occasional cat burglar doesn't take the effort it's taking you to hold your own against the mindless wonder there. Any stored solar energy you may have is being exhausted. Plainly put, you're running out of gas, and the pumps are closed.
Doomsday leaps atop Superman, beating him down savagely. Superman's running out of time. Exterior Antarctic. The snow is almost blinding, even in the darkness. We pan across the tundra and drop into a large canyon. Interior Antarctic Canyon. Buried deep in the snow, we see the Fortress of Solitude, Superman's home away from home. Outside the massive front door stand two statue-like polar bears. Interior Fortress. Amongst various trophies and keepsakes hangs a rocket, an escaped craft that Superman brought to Earth all those years ago. Interior Craft. In the cabin, electrical pulses start to ignite. A screen forms, igniting with a series of random numbers and Kryptonian letters until they form the S insignia. Cut to exterior Metropolis streets, the torn S insignia on Superman's chest, dripping with blood. Superman gives it his all against the mindless Doomsday, the voice of Lex still filling his head.
I really just called to tell you that your reign is over. You're being replaced. And this city, this world's about to fall on its knees before LexCorp and its CEO.
We hear Superman's heartbeat, and it's not that strong. Interior Craft. Back in the Antarctic, the heartbeat faintly echoes through the cabin. The S on the screen gives way to vital signs graph, including a heart rate monitor. All the signs are dangerously low, as indicated by the readout. Interior Fortress. The body of the rocket dislodges from the ceiling, falling to the snow. It begins transforming, growing, a body. Exterior Metropolis streets. Superman and Doomsday go at it, both weakening, but it's clear Superman's the worst off. Lois pushes through the crowd, followed by Jimmy. Her eyes go wide.
Go, fly away. Get out of here before that thing kills you.
His power diminished, the Man of Steel is on the ropes. His lethal opponent, too, appears to be reaching his grave. But neither relents. And even now, Superman has Lex's voice in his head.
You had no business here from the start, Kryptonian, but here you'll die.
Close up Superman, who allows himself a quick, pained glance at close up Lois, eyes filled with tears. Close up Superman, as he manages a final weak smile as if to say goodbye.
I just wanted you to know who it was that beat you, boy.
Close up Lois. She at first smiles through her tears as well until she realizes what it means. and the pair throw their last punches, connecting with one another's heads. The shock of their mortal blows explode like a sonic boom throughout Metropolis. Close up, Lois, wide-eyed. Close up, Jimmy, who stops snapping photos and looks up. Interior, Lex's office. Close up, Lex, who stares down at the tiny spectacle from high above, smiling. Exterior, Metropolis streets. And in a moment that seems like an eternity, the two mighty combatants fall to the ground. Interior, Fortress. And the Eradicator comes online. He stands erect, taking in his surroundings. He moves to a nearby computer and hooks into it. A map of the world fills the screen. We digitally race through it and land in exterior Metropolis streets. The city is paralyzed. Then the crowd starts to move. News crews and military personnel converge, crowding around the fallen Superman. Lois fights her way through the masses, dropping to her knees beside the fallen Man of Steel. She lifts his head from the rubble, cradling it. He reopens his eyes, partially. Muck, filth, and blood obscuring his vision and suit.
Is it?
Shh, you did it, Clark. You did it.
Lois.
He goes limp. Lois breaks down. The crowd's in shock. Superman is dead.
Interior skull ship. Brainiac and Elron smile at the same image on the ship's view screen.
Throw out a wave pulse net. If my calculations are correct, the technology will be coming online soon.
Interior fortress. The Eradicator stares up at the mapping system with a flashing red light indicating the fallen Superman's location.
Metropolis.
Interior skull ship. Elron looks up from the monitor on the control panel.
So far, nothing, my liege.
Patience, Elron. He'll come.
Interior fortress. The mapping on the screen transposes and rises above Metropolis, landing on a diagram of the skull ship. Over the image flashes the message, Predator detected.
Brainiac. Here.
The image disappears, replaced with activating cloaking device. The Eradicator then concentrates on the map.
Now, how to get Kal-El without being detected. Or get Kal-El to me.
The Eradicator types at the computer he's hooked into. The screen begins filling with numbers, letters, and an array of binary codes. Interior skull ship on control board. A signal beeps. Brainiac punches a button anxiously, only to be greeted by Lex's face on the view screen. What are you waiting for? Phase 2? If this is going to work, we have to move to phase 2 now. Brainiac scowls at the screen and switches off.
Insolent hunk of meat. Animate the carcass.
Exterior Metropolis streets, night. Close up, Doomsday's eyes. A high-pitched charge is heard, and the dead eyes snap open. The creature stirs, then sits bolt upright, growling. The crowd begins screaming. The tearful Lois looks up from her fallen lover to see Doomsday moving. Interior skull ship. Elron enters codes and presses buttons, animating Doomsday's corpse, which we see on the view screen.
Finish this mess so we can find technology.
Elron hits a button. Exterior skull ship. From the skull ship's bow, a red beam emits, cutting through space. Exterior Metropolis streets. The beam strikes the animated dead body of Doomsday, incinerating it. People leap out of the way as Doomsday explodes. Metropolitans look skyward for the source of the blast, but find nothing. Lois is among them for a beat. She then goes back to cradling her lover's head. Jimmy comforts her, then sadly stands, looking through the eyepiece of his camera.
Rest in peace, big guy.
We hold on the frozen photo image of the Man of Steel held by his secret love. Dissolve 2. Exterior Metropolis skyline night. The next day, the city is dark, both in morning and in lack of sun. Exterior Metropolis streets night. On the streets below, artificial light is cast from high-powered LexCorp Klieg's. It's the same straight down the avenue. LexCorp lights everywhere. And people as well. The crowds are enormous, all wearing black armbands emblazoned with Superman's S shield. They scramble to get a look at a horse-drawn carriage, in the midst of which is a casket. Its open top reveals Superman. Eyes closed, peaceful, his cape hangs over the lid. Exterior Metropolis, night. Its backdrop draped in black, with a blown-up photo of Superman adorning the center. The viewing stage holds various city and world dignitaries who stare mournfully at the approaching carriage. Kat Grant addresses her camera team, flanked by Lois.
Kat Grant here, bringing you WGBS's continuing coverage of what the president has called the world's darkest hour. Offering her perspective on this sadly historic day is Daily Planet reporter Lois Lane, whose name is synonymous with the Man of Steel's.
Well, we here in Metropolis say goodbye to a friend around the globe. Crisis management teams are working tirelessly to counter the effects of the eclipse.
Exterior foreign locales. While Lois speaks, we see LexCorp Klieg's powering up at sites around the globe. LexCorp trucks empty LexCorp food supplies.
Financial analysts have predicted that LexCorp will make billions from around the globe as the sole supplier of available energy.
Exterior Metropolis Park, night. Lois continues.
The burial monument commissioned by Lex Luthor himself strikes this reporter as being built in a remarkable, expedient fashion. When questioned on this, Luthor responded evasively, "We have our own differences, but a man such as this deserves an equal memorial."
Lois, perhaps the greatest memorial to his efforts is that so far, 0 casualties have been reported from this citywide battle.
Although my colleague Clark Kent is still missing, presumed killed during the fallout from the battle, rescue teams have been sifting through the rubble, but so far there's no sign of him.
More on that story tonight, but right now the procession has reached the tomb.
The carriage stops, and a priest says a blessing over the Man of Steel's body, closing the casket lid. But before it closes, we get a glimpse of 2 small, blinking lights attached to his suit. Interior skull ship. On the view screen, an outline of Superman's body has the same corresponding blinking red lights. Elron notes this. Exterior Metropolis Park. Pallbearers carry the casket toward the monument. A huge bronze replica of Superman in his up, up, and away stance. Jimmy snaps away, stopping momentarily to wipe a tear from his eye, as the pallbearers insert the casket into the base, sealing the metal doors. Interior skull ship. On the view screen, digital tumblers lock into place, and a message flashes. Alarm engaged. Elron turns to Brainiac, who is suiting up in some uncharacteristically resplendent costuming, complete with cape.
Security measures on both the suit and the tomb have been activated. If anything attempts to remove his body, and that's a big if.
There are no ifs. Elron, Eradicator, is here. I know it.
And who, might I ask, is opening for my liege in Las Vegas this weekend?
Lex Luthor's idea of what a Kryptonian should look like alone marks him for execution.
Something we should act on now.
I have further use for Lex Luthor until such time as we have the Eradicator. I will feed off LexCorp's energy supplies to maintain my form. Once we have the technology of Jor-El, you may kill Lex Luthor. I'll prepare my skiff.
Exterior Metropolis Park, night. Governor Bree rides a cherry picker to the outstretched arm of the statue where she hangs Superman's cape. For the crowd that can't get near the tomb, the burial is broadcast on the WGBS building giant screen TV. Then the image of the funeral is interrupted by a familiar symbol. The bat signal. It gives way to a shadowy image of the Dark Knight deep within the Batcave.
Good evening, Metropolis. It is with heavy heart that I offer you my and Gotham's deepest condolences. I apologize for my absence, but with the loss of the sun, I am all that opposes the criminal element in my city, who have seized upon the cover of darkness to further their evil purposes.
From atop the viewing stage, Lois and the others stare up at the screen.
The guardian of your city, of the world, held Metropolis and its inhabitants very near to his heart.
The message continues on the screen.
It's been said that he fought a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. Honor this fallen soldier well by keeping his memory alive in the face of this adversity. From this day forward, we forever shoulder the burden of the world without a Superman.
On the giant screen, the Dark Knight withdraws further back into the shadows until he is completely unseen. The bat signal comes up again and then scrambles into the image of the funeral below. But suddenly, over the top of the giant screen, a hover skiff rises, sending the crowd below into a panic. Jimmy joins Lois, snapping pictures of the descending craft as it lands on the viewing stage.
Aboard the craft is Brainiac, now decked out in alien garb, replete with face-obscuring helmet, and Lex, with an arm draped over Brainiac's shoulder. Lex jumps to the podium microphone.
People of Metropolis, this is a great day in our planet's history. Today, you will learn of a secret too long kept by myself and Superman.
A murmur goes through the crowd. Atop the viewing stage, Lois looks at Lex suspiciously as Lex continues.
Superman's job was not to protect our city, but instead to pave the way for an amazing new era in this planet's history.
Kat moves closer to Lois, whispering.
Has the old man finally lost it?
I think it's worse than that.
Lex encourages applause from the confused crowd.
Over the last 2 years, Superman and I had been working closely to prepare this world for its introduction to more extraterrestrials like himself, and like the being I now present to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the true power behind our fallen man of steel, Brainiac.
Urged by Lex, Brainiac approaches the podium as a hush falls over the crowd.
Today marks a terrible day for our planet, Krypton. Superman, as you call him, was the herald of the highest order, having gone before me to many planets, preparing them for first contact. I stand before you now in the spirit of hope and peace.
A cheer goes up from the crowd. Brainiac looks out upon the thrall, emotionless. Lex pats him on the back, whispering in his ear.
Get up, they're buying.
Lois watches Brainiac's and Lex's interaction with suspicion, but her face belies fear that what's being said may be the truth.
His true mission was kept secret from you, to protect you until you were ready to accept aliens into your world. Sorrowfully, my herald gave his life fighting a foul menace, weakening the beast so that I was able to vaporize it, using the power of my ship above. The creature is from a race of warmongers that have designated this planet for annihilation. But in concert with Superman and Lex Luthor, I have been able to blanket your planet in darkness to protect you from the approaching hordes.
Lois goes bug-eyed, her journalistic instincts kicking in. She charges the podium, fighting off LexCorp security.
What is he talking about? Is he saying that you two, blocked out the sun?
Miss Lane, let the deity speak.
Using materials provided by Lex Luthor and my own advanced technology, I fashioned a device to enshroud the planet in a darkness that will provide camouflage
From what?
From them.
Suddenly, the dark skies above shimmer, and an armada of ships can be seen moving slowly through space, patrolling. With the multitude of spacecraft visible, it would appear that Earth is under attack. The Metropolitans panic, screaming, moving to run. Brainiac holds his hands out.
Do not fear. We are not visible to this armada.
The crowd calms, listening to Brainiac.
The forced eclipse that darkens the skies is what keeps us hidden. The menace above cannot detect your world and will slowly pass through your galaxy within days. Once they have moved on, I will end the eclipse and bring back the sun.
Until that time, LexCorp energy will fuel the planet, and LexCorp industrial services will keep the world operating smoothly as if the sun had never left.
The crowd slowly breaks into applause. Lex smiles, joining hands with Brainiac and raising them into the air. Brainiac seems to be confused by this, but goes along with it. His attention is more focused on the tomb, surrounded by people. Brainiac cannot see it. Interior fortress. The Eradicator stops typing at the computer. He presses enter. The numbers on the screen reconfigure, forming Superman's S insignia. It glows red. Interior tomb. Back in Metropolis, inside the casket, the S on Superman's chest also begins glowing red. Superman's body begins shimmering and teleports, Trek style, out of sight, leaving behind his suit, on which the security measures still blink. Exterior, Metropolis Park, night. Lex urges Brainiac to further address the crowd.
Like Superman, I will endeavor to protect Earth and its inhabitants. It's the least I can do in return for your warm welcome. And in memory of Superman.
Brainiac raises his arms like Nixon. The crowd goes wild. Luthor leads the crowd in a rallying cry of cheers for Earth's greatest hero, Brainiac. And as Cat Grant rushes the podium to get an interview with the heroic pair, Lois stares at them both coldly and at a loss, amid the thrall of support for Brainiac. Fade to black. Dream sequence. We smash cut into a speeding tracking shot, traveling on electrical impulses through the tortuous path of Superman's brain, hearing
Greetings, my son.
a close-up of Jor-El fades into view.
It has been many years since you have looked upon the face of your birth father through infant eyes. I only wish this message came to you under better circumstances.
One, Jor-El and Lara work in their lab. They step back to reveal the Eradicator, who sits up and opens his eyes.
Your mother and I spent years constructing an autonomous, free-form computer in order to study more closely the volatile core of our home world.
Two, the Eradicator emerges from a deep, smoky shaft.
We named the living computer the Eradicator, after a Kryptonian mythological figure.
Three, the Eradicator plugs himself into the computer in their lab. On the monitor, images of the planet's volatile core appear. After a beat, a metal shaft appears in the lava.
It confirmed our worst fears. The planet was unstable, but even more horrifying was the cause of the duress.
Then alarms sound and lights flash. The screen goes black, filling with the symbol of Brainiac.
The Brainiac system had come from off-world, brought online to police the planet. Learned it was up to far more than that.
4, bound in handcuffs and illuminated by a shaft of light, Jor-El stands before Brainiac in a darkened chamber.
I discovered the renegade science officer, Jor-El, engaged in illegal planetary experimentation.
How does the accused plea?
I'll plead anything you wish. If the council will hear my plea that the planet be evacuated now, in moments, Krypton will perish.
Brainiac, is there any validity to Jor-El's claim?
None. He's lying. The planet is in no danger. But Jor-El himself represents a threat. He has ignored the tempered technology code and constructed a sentient computer system with a perpetual battery, the Eradicator.
A second shaft of light illuminates the Eradicator, sealed in a glass containment chamber.
The Eradicator's no threat. Brainiac is. The data we collected points to him as the cause of the core's instability. He's siphoning off the planet's energy.
Suddenly, a beam shoots out of the Brainiac symbol, striking the Eradicator, absorbing its power.
Brainiac had intended to fashion a body for himself, using the energy from the planet's core.
5. In a containment chamber, Brainiac's body begins growing. A schematic of the goal is pictured on a monitor.
But by absorbing the Eradicator, not only could he have the body he so desired, he'd also possess the perpetual battery by which to power him infinitely. Ironically, his strain on the planet's core finally took its toll.
6. The council chamber begins to shudder and crumble. A piece of ceiling breaks free and crashes into the monitor, breaking the connection with the Eradicator. 7. In the containment chamber, the body formation stops, resulting in a half-formed Brainiac. The view screen fills with Brainiac's symbol, shuddering.
No.
Facing the destruction he created, Brainiac was forced to depart Krypton on a craft he constructed in secrecy, without the body he so desired.
Interior, Jor-El's launch pad.
Lara hands the infant Superman to Jor-El. He holds the child in his arms, addressing the camera. The room is shuddering and falling apart.
The planet is in its final moments, my son. As I hold you one last time, I record this message to be viewed in the event the Marauder Brainiac ever tracks either you or the Eradicator back to the planet I'm sending you, Earth. Avoid him at all costs. I've used these last minutes to code your chromo frequency into the Eradicator. In the event of a significant drop in your vital signs, the Eradicator will come to your aid. Be well, Kal-El. You were so cherished.
As Jor-El hands the infant to the Eradicator, static fills the screen. Interior fortress, close up on Superman's face. Superman lays in a Kryptonian resuscitation chamber. Arms folded over his chest, he is immersed in a gelatinous green mass. His eyes snap open and he sits bolt upright, breaking out of the dense goo. He throws up a lungful of the muck, inhales deeply.
My bad. Father?
He slowly rises, wiping the jelly from his body and face. The old blue and red togs are gone, replaced by a black resuscitation suit. Then there are ripples along the surface of the gelatin within the resuscitation chamber. The Eradicator rises behind Superman.
Greetings, son of Jor-El.
Superman turns quickly to see the Eradicator. He looks from E to where the resuscitative bath no longer is, save for some remnants of the goo. Superman then looks back at the Eradicator, dazed.
It has been some time since we last met. Your hardware has improved, and now you wear clothes.
I saw my father, Jor-El. It was like my life flashed before my eyes. It was from a part of my life I don't remember. Krypton. I've never seen it. I saw my birth parents, but not Mom, Pa, and Lois. Why didn't I see her? You'd think your final reflection would include the most important person in your life.
Perhaps because your reflection was far from final.
Superman stares at the Eradicator, slowly grasping. Then,
I'm Alive?
The Eradicator nods. Superman leaps to his feet triumphantly. The Eradicator proceeds around the chamber, constructing a small two-man ship.
I'm alive? Then that was just a dream?
A message downloaded it into your cerebral cortex while you were in the resuscitation bath.
You were on Krypton too, with my father. How did you get here?
I was the craft that brought you to this planet years ago.
Rocket. How?
My programming allows me to shapeshift into any form of equal mass to my own humanoid structure. The rocket was only large enough to carry a child, a factor that prevented me from transporting your parents as well as yourself.
You've been in this fortress the whole time and I didn't know it? Wait. Did you ever see Lois and I while we... Well, why the hell did you never say anything?
I was programmed to lie dormant until such a time as your vital signs waned. That's never been a factor until now.
I'm remembering now. The sun was blocked. My father warned me about a threat from Krypton in the message. Brainiac, is that the creature I was fighting?
No. Brainiac is far more dangerous than that beast.
Then I've got to bring him down. Where's my suit? I've got to get back up to Metropolis.
He leaps as if to take off, but falls to the ground.
Your powers are still gone.
Superman rises to his hands and knees wide-eyed. He's never been powerless in his life.
Will they return?
Once we get away from the shadowed Earth and closer to the sun, you should be back online. The ship will be taking us off-world in less than an hour.
Whoa. Leave?
We must find another world where the sun affects you as it did here.
But what about Brainiac? I can't leave all these people behind.
When Earth was chosen as your home, it was so that the powers you would manifest would place you in above its inhabitants, not so you could be their champion.
Yeah, no. We're staying here and fighting Brainiac. I don't care if I really die this time.
Fortunately, that will never be a factor. The program your father imparted to me before we left the dying Krypton was to ensure your longevity.
Superman stares at him, taken aback.
I can't die?
As long as I function, no.
Well, then all the more reason to go after this Brainiac character. I'm not letting him do to Earth what he did to Krypton.
Brainiac has come to this planet to hunt me. He sides my perpetual battery, and he will destroy this world if he must to acquire it. That endangers your life, which is against my programming. We must find you a new home.
Earth is my home. You expect me to just leave it behind? Leave Lois just to save myself?
Yes. Yes.
Superman offers the Eradicator a sharp, shocked look.
This race is as good as extinct, Kal-El. You cannot save them now.
I have to at least try. That is in my programming.
The Eradicator sees the passion in Superman's eyes. He processes this and stands back. Superman proceeds.
The first order of business would be to remove whatever's blocking the sun. But apparently, I'm unable to fly, which leaves the question of how to reach that thing.
Superman looks to the two-man ship, then back to the Eradicator. Exterior, Metropolis, night. We get our first look at what Metropolis has become. The Skull Ship now rests atop the twin metro towers, and it's grown, encasing the buildings in the steel of its hull, squid-like in nature. The large screen TV that rests atop the WGBS building now airs updates and reports of the Armada's distance from Earth. At the LexCorp building, we can see Luthor, flanked by bodyguards on the front steps. He stands at a podium before bundled up members of the press.
As his designated representative, Brainiac has asked me to give you this latest update.
Exterior, LexCorp building, night. At the podium, Lex reads from a prepared statement.
According to his calculations, the Armada should completely pass through our solar system in a matter of days, at which time the sun will return.
The press let out a cheer. Lois stands among them, looking on suspiciously. She speaks up.
There are rumors of a rebellion of sorts, a group that doesn't necessarily trust or believe either you or Brainiac.
Lex's eyes flare briefly, then settle. He smiles kindly.
Miss Lane, this city, this world knows how much Brainiac has done for us. There are some people who will take issue with anything for the sake of being contradictory. Don't let their bitter voices echo louder than the joyous praise of the majority.
Ironically enough, you were once the bitter minority complaining about Superman's interference with the planet. Yet now you lay like a lapdog at the feet of Brainiac. Why the switch?
I did not understand Superman's purpose. Brainiac explained it to me. I only wish I had known his import before he died.
Call me a skeptic, but somehow I don't buy your sincerity, Lex.
Well, Miss Lane, it's like the shirt says.
Lex rips open his button-down shirt, Superman style, revealing a t-shirt beneath. On it is the image of a stone-faced Brainiac, around whose head the letters spell out, "I am a maniac for Brainiac." The press cheers. Lex owns them. Close up on shirt. Cut to interior League of Nations conference room. The same shirt, only on a different being, Elron, the little robot, sits among the delegates as Brainiac addresses the World Congress.
Ladies and gentlemen, the World Congress. It is my conclusion that the marauders who seek to ravage your planet have sent an even deadlier threat than the doomsday creature.
The delegates panic. Elron pulls up his shirt and his chest opens, revealing a projector of sorts. An image of the Eradicator is thrown onto the screen.
This being is an anthropomorphic weapon, 100 times more powerful than your atomic bomb. Its detonation, while effectively wiping out half of Earth's population, will also signal the Armada of the planet's hidden location.
What can we do to prevent this?
Utilize your military. Have them locate this weapon, but do not engage it. When you have found it, contact me. I will defuse it. That is all.
Interior Skull Ship Bridge. Brainiac and Elron enter.
You sure scared the hell out of those guys.
Which will ensure that they work twice as hard as even us to locate the Eradicator technology.
Well, Lex Luthor asks questions when he hears about this. He'll know you're lying.
We have nothing to fear on this dismal planet, Elron. Least of all, the slow-witted Lex Luthor.
Brainiac then notices the small marble replica of himself sitting on a pedestal across from the control board. A note is attached which reads, "To Earth's next master." Brainiac regards the statue curiously, then looks to Elron.
Speak of the dummy, obviously from Luthor. Not so much a gift as a vulgar attempt to stay on your good side.
Brainiac seizes the statue and crushes it in his grip. There, amidst the dust, sits a micro spy camera, blinking.
Apparently, Lex Luthor is more clever than we gave him credit. Show the Cretan what he wants to see.
Exterior, space. The two-man ship rockets through space. Through the windshield, we see the Eradicator at the helm. The lower half of his body makes up the control board, while his upper half operates it. Interior, ship. Surrounded by various pieces of what resemble armaments, Superman attempts to pull them on.
What is it going to do exactly?
We're building you a reconstructive suit. Your trial has left you injured and weakened. These units will expedite your recovery.
In Little League, it was easy. It began and ended with a cup.
Then tendrils reach out of the Eradicator's back and scoop up the various pieces outfitting Superman.
This will support your strained back muscles. These will repair your fracture in your shoulder. Your ankles will need the support of this. This will protect your vertebrae.
The tendrils draw back into their operator, revealing the newly outfitted Superman, minus the S shield. He looks ready for action.
All this and I'm still powerless?
But protected. Strap yourself in now, Kal-El. We've almost reached our destination.
They soar toward the far-off Shadowcaster. Interior, Lex's office, night. Close up on a monitor, which displays Brainiac and Elron analyzing a LexTech schematic on their view screen. Misty and Lex watch the monitor.
You were right. He's trying to access the weapons division.
That's what we're supposed to think. This is a fake. See this? It's pixelated. If this were truly from our surveillance camera, we'd see scan lines like a television image. This picture was created digitally.
But how?
He's a living computer, Misty. It's certainly not beyond his capacity to manipulate an image. It would seem that Brainiac is onto us and hiding something.
How do you want to play it?
Like every business deal, cordial on the surface. Meanwhile, we put to use that data we've compiled from the diagnostics check on the Shadowcaster technology, and the moment Brainy Knot steps out of line, we simply cut off the chow bag he thinks we know nothing about.
You know, you are incredibly attractive when you're like this. It's noon. You've got an interview with the Daily Planet.
Is it noon already? So hard to tell anymore.
As Misty exits, Lois and Jimmy enter.
Well, well, well. Metropolis's own voice of dissent.
Sorry, I had a moment of losing myself a little bit. And I'm having birds that are... birds! Aha. If I'm the mouthpiece, if I'm the mouthpiece, wouldn't that make you the other cavity?
Good old Lois. Always a quipper, weren't you? You want something to print in that rag you work for? Print this. This anti-Brainiac rhetoric you've been spouting both today and in the pages of the Planet is dangerous. I only pray that your columns continue to be read as merely sociopolitical criticism and not as an act of sedition.
Sedition? Since when is an opinion considered sedition?
What do you think those huge ships are? Parade floats? If you unsettle Brainiac with your mistrust, you put this planet in peril. There's not a government on Earth that wouldn't call that sedition.
So we wait out the cold and dark bestowed upon us by an alien who's supposedly protecting us from other aliens, 6 of 1/2 dozen of the other.
Is that any different from what Superman did? You were his greatest advocate, Miss Lane, and when in death his true agenda is revealed, you turn against your Man of Steel's own master.
The day I believe Superman was in league with Brainiac is the day I quit the city desk and take over the planet's horoscope page.
Then start watching the stars, young lady.
You've already got most of the world doing that.
Jimmy jumps between the verbally sparring pair.
This would probably be a great time to take that photo, Mr. Luthor.
Lex goes soft, smiling at Lois. He rounds the desk and scoots next to her.
I'm sure if Miss Lane had it her way, this photo would appear on the obituary page under the heading Luthor, finally out cold.
Then Lex drops to the ground, out cold. Reveal Lois palming a small needle resembling a joy buzzer.
How long we got?
Dr. Hamilton said about 5 minutes. Do your thing, kid.
Jimmy hits the computer, typing as fast as he can. Exterior, fortress. The skull ship rests on the snowy plains. Brainiac and Elron emerge, led by General Darris and 2 soldiers.
The president's known about Superman's fortress for years, but we've always respected the Man of Steel's privacy. It wasn't until your address that I suggested we investigate the premises for a breach.
Very wise of you, General Darris.
Good monkey.
Then, as the trio approach the entranceway, the two polar bears rise from their statue-like positions and attack the escort soldiers, tearing them apart. The bears turn on Brainiac, who ferociously wrestles the first bear to the ground, savagely breaking its neck. Seeing this, the second bear turns and flees. Elrond brushes snow from his master as Darris stands there, open-mouthed.
Shall we?
Interior fortress. Brainiac stops where the resuscitation bath was. A remnant of green goo from the bath lies on the snow. His hand morphs into a mini vacuum of sorts and sucks it up.
It's him. Eradicator was here. Prepare your men for his return, but do not shoot to kill. Leave his capture, too.
Then Brainiac falters. He looks at his arm, which begins withering, the reversal of how it was affected when he drained the alien craft. Elrond ushers Darris away.
All right, show's over. Nothing to see here. Go outside with your drones and march around or something.
Darris is ruffled, but exits. Brainiac leans on Elrond.
We have to get you back to the ship, my liege.
No, I will gain my energy by absorbing the Eradicator upon his return.
Brainiac withers further. Elrond grabs hold of him, pulling him out of the room.
If we don't return to Metropolis and hook you back into the core to maintain your form, you'll be offline in minutes. We'll come back for the Eradicator. He's not going anywhere.
Interior Lex's office, night. On the screen, we see Jimmy gain access to Lex's files. He scrolls through them while Lois looks over the desk, keeping an eye on Luthor's condition.
I think I've got something.
Jimmy accesses a file marked AI. He opens it, and we get the gist of his backstabbing plans for Brainiac.
Well. Seems the old weasel's not such a maniac for Brainiac after all. That could be helpful down the road.
Jimmy pops a disk into the computer, downloading the file. Then there's a groggy grunt. Lex begins to stir. Lois rushes to his side. She motions to Jimmy, who jumps away from the computer, grabbing the disk. Lois helps Lex to her feet. To his feet.
What happened?
You passed out, Lex. Must be all the stress.
Must be. Although I wouldn't discount the effect you've been known to have on men, Miss Lane.
My girlish charm.
Your devilish
Then Lex freezes. He notices his computer is on.
inquisitiveness.
Lex looks sharply at Lois. Close up on Lex's eyes as they accuse. Close up on Lois's eyes as they shrug. Back to scene. Then Lois grabs Jimmy and sprints out to the balcony. Lex punches his intercom.
Security, seal all exits, now!
Exterior Lex's office balcony, night. Lois drags Jimmy outside, slamming the doors behind them. Lois looks in every direction and spots Brainiac's hover skiff parked to the side. She looks at Jimmy.
That'd be close to a moped, right?
Interior Lex's office. A team of LexCorp security piles in. Lex points frantically at the balcony, screaming.
Don't let them get away! Shoot to kill!
Exterior Lex's office balcony, night. The security team kicks the doors open and takes aim. Lex is right behind them. Lois and Jimmy leap above the hoverjet, gun the engine, and shoot into the air over the heads of Lex and the security team.
Fire!
And fire they do, unloading a lethal payload into the air. With Jimmy holding on for dear life, Lois maneuvers the hoverjet like a pro, dodging shots left and right. She soars higher into the air, steering the vehicle toward the top of the building.
Shouldn't we be getting as far away from here as possible?
This is kind of like a date, isn't it, Jimmy? Well, on a date, you get dinner and a movie.
Lois flies over the roof of LexCorp, and we reveal the huge holograph device that throws the shape of the Armada against the sky.
Shoot it, Jimmy. Now we've got all the proof we need.
Jimmy takes pictures. Exterior space. Superman and the Eradicator reach the Shadowcaster. It's imposing as hell. The Eradicator hooks into the satellite and begins processing.
Fascinating. You would imagine he'd take some security measures. With no interference, I should have it shut down momentarily.
But Superman's attention is drawn to the hull of the ship.
Eradicator, can you enhance the view screen to X-ray?
Interior Eradicator craft. The visual Superman sees through the window X-rays until the words LexTech 37 are revealed. Superman growls.
What a shock.
Exterior space. Suddenly, an electrical charge runs through the Eradicator's hookup. It detached itself from the Shadowcaster and goes dark. Then Superman and the Eradicator craft begin plummeting toward Earth.
Eradicator?
Brainiac's technology has taken a bit out of me, Kal-El.
The ship continues to fall, the Eradicator seemingly out.
We're free falling here.
The technology is not only working from a program my processors find too foreign to crack. It has also had a negative impact on my neural net. My systems are shutting down.
What?
It's akin to the toxic effect kryptonite has on your systems.
But kryptonite leaves me powerless.
Bingo.
Interior Skull Ship Bridge. Elron throws switches on a control panel. Brainiac lays in the midst of an enormous device. A helm is lowered onto his head. He points to Elron, who in turn presses a button. Pure energy shoots through Brainiac, sending him into convulsions. On the device monitor, there's an illustration of the device pulsing with rising, the amount Brainiac is sucking up, and decreasing the amount he's taking numbers. The source of this power, according to the graphs, the Earth's core. Elron shuts the machine down. Brainiac throws off the helm, rising.
Why did you bring me back here? If we'd waited, the Eradicator would have been mine.
My liege, you are nearly powerless.
Brainiac seizes the little robot, holding him aloft.
If you've interfered with my manifest, you little talking cog, I will absorb the insignificant energy that's wasted on you. Bring us back to the Antarctic now. I will have that technology.
Then an alarm goes off. Both Brainiac and Elron look to the view screen. A mapping system comes on the screen. It zooms in on a free-falling blip located in the upper atmosphere. The pair rush to the control board.
Something rapidly descending towards Earth that doesn't match any known terrestrial crafts, giving off radiation readings native to, you know where.
Brainiac goes wide-eyed.
The technology of Jor-El.
Exterior space. The Eradicator ship screams into the lower atmosphere, rocketing at the surface of the planet. Interior Eradicator ship. Superman looks around nervously.
Come on, man. Up and away.
Exterior space.
The Eradicator ship screams through the clouds, racing towards a landmass.
I'm attempting a cross relay with my transnet. Should take approximately 30 minutes.
Interior Eradicator craft. Superman punches at the control panel.
We don't have 30 minutes. We're going down now. I did not come this far in life and cheat death just to die in what's essentially a plane crash.
Never mind. Here we are.
The Eradicator comes back online as the craft's interior lights come back up. Exterior Coast City. Just in time to pull its nose up, narrowly missing a violent impact with the ground and coming to a rocky landing in a midst of desolate city. Interior Skull Ship Bridge, now with more parakeets. Brainiac and Elron stare up at the view screen.
Lock on to the signal. We'll follow it to the source.
The mapping system disappears, replaced by signal loss.
What the? Where did it go?
It's cloaking itself. It's on its way here to Metropolis. It means to enter the city undetected. to revive the Kryptonian's body.
Then surely the League of Nations search teams will pick it up on radar.
I'm leaving nothing to chance. It may be cloaked now. Cloaks are simple. Encryption programs break its code. Do not fail me, little robot.
Exterior Coast City night. Superman and the Eradicator climb out of the flying craft. Superman hugs the ground, sweating bullets, breathing heavily.
Is this your idea of preserving my life?
It would appear that Brainiac has rendered the device tamper-proof. The anti-technology is beyond my comprehension. The hardware...
Provided by Luthor. That's why he moved to space station. Lois was right. That story was right up my alley.
Your dream of this Lois, when you were in the resurrection chamber, she was without clothes.
Yeah, I remember. Thanks.
You would have her as Jor-El and Lara, or as Jor-El had Lara?
I would, but she has trouble having me.
And this disturbs you.
It has its drawbacks, yes.
I've ascertained that the inhabitants of this planet hold you in high esteem. I don't see why the affection, or lack thereof, of one matters, in respect to the multitude who show you allegiance.
That's something I've been dwelling on since I came back, and I think I've come to a truth that I've never wanted to face before. Yes, I do it all for the multitude, but when I save lives or fight for the weak, I'm saving one life, fighting for one person, again and again and again. It's her, don't you see? She represents all of them, their hopes, their fragility, their passion. And if I ever feel like no matter how much I do, it's not enough, I think of Lois, and then I'm off, faster than a speeding bullet to be Earth's champion, but always hers first.
This does not compute.
That's because it's not about this. It's about this.
Suddenly, an explosion is heard. Superman reacts, racing towards the sound. The Eradicator follows. Exterior, burning building, night. An apartment building has caught fire. Tenants pour out of the building. The screams for help can be heard. Superman looks up.
No!
From their windows on the second and third floor, tenants call out for help. Trapped, Superman takes his classic stance and attempts to blow super breath, forgetting his lack of powers. He appears crestfallen for a moment, then looks to the Eradicator.
Bust that fire hydrant open, now!
The Eradicator offers him a puzzled look.
Do it!
The Eradicator kicks the hydrant open and water begins spilling onto the street. Superman soaks himself in it from head to toe. He races off, leaving the Eradicator standing there. Superman gets to the front of the building, flames already blocking the front door. He moves towards the flames, then pulls back, overcome by the heat. He stares at the flames for a second, shocked. His face is at all. He's afraid. He slams his eyes shut, as if willing his fear away. He then covers his face and leaps through the wall of fire. The Eradicator's eyes go wide.
I just don't understand that boy.
Interior burning building. The powerless Superman emerges from the flames, landing on the other side, singed but otherwise okay. He heads up the stairs of the fast flaming complex and bangs on the door as frightened people emerge coughing.
Everything's going to be fine. I'm going to help the kids out first. Just stay calm.
Superman scoops up two children. A woman grabs him by the shoulder.
What about the rest of us?
Superman looks from the woman to the rest of the people in the now crowded hallway. He's giving pause. He can't pause. Can he do this? He shakes it off.
I'll be back. I promise.
And down the stairs with the precious cargoes he charges. Exterior building, night. Superman leaps through the wall of the flames, cradling children in his arms. He moves through the crowd outside, rushing the kids to the Eradicator, who wraps them in wet blankets.
Have you lost sight of the fact that you are now as vulnerable as those you seek to aid?
I can't just stand here like you and watch.
Then the windows blow out of the bottom floors. People scream from the second and third floor windows. Superman lets out a defeated howl. He looks to the Eradicator, desperate. They lock eyes. The Eradicator steps back and morphs into a dazzling display of body armor.
Climb in.
Superman eagerly jumps inside the suit.
This will enable you to duplicate any of your former powers
You didn't think to suggest this earlier?
and patronize your Messiah complex further.
The suit seals itself around Superman, concealing his identity, and lifts into the air. They make a beeline to the top floor window, interior apartment. The supersuit bursts through a wall, giving the now literal Man of Steel access to the top floor. Superman's POV. As the suit simulates his former X-ray vision, we see through a wall where a frightened family cowers. Back to the scene. Lasers shoot through the eyepieces of the suit, cutting through the wall. Superman steps through the hole. The family looks up, transfixed.
Sorry I'm late. Shall we?
Exterior burning building, night. Superman gently sets the family down on the street where they're greeted by firemen who are hosing down the building. Superman trains his heat vision on the generator, repairing the damage. The power on the block comes back on and the people cheer.
Hey, what do they call you, man?
Huh?
You're one of those superheroes, right? What do they call you? So I don't look like an idiot when I tell the press some guy in a robot suit showed up and saved a lot of people.
Just tell them I'm back.
And as the people cheer, Superman leaps into the sky, rocketing out of sight.
Who's back?
Exterior, sky, night. With the aid of the Eradicator's suit, Superman soars again, maneuvering gracefully.
Where are we going, Kal-El?
Metropolis.
Is there ever a moment's peace with you? In this form, you're monopolizing energy that was chiefly powering my cloaking field.
Shut it down.
What? Brainiac will detect us.
Let him. I want him to know we're coming.
The pair as one head east, hell-bent. Interior, skull ship. Elron bangs at the keys on the main computer. Then a flashing image and shrill beep come up on the view screen.
My liege, I think I cracked the code.
You have the technology's position.
It's 3 hours west and heading towards us at an alarming rate.
Interior, Daily Planet City Room, night. LexCorp security, now decked out more like soldiers, topple file cabinets and rifle through desks. Perry shouts in Lex's face.
Great Caesar's ghost, you're going to have the biggest lawsuit on your hands when I get through with you. Brainiac's emissary or not, you've got no right.
I've got every right, White. National security. Lois Lane and James Olsen are under suspicion of engaging in espionage and propaganda that threatens not just this country, but the world.
He tosses the writ at Perry.
This is a newspaper, for the love of God. We don't trade in propaganda. We print the news.
Then print this, old man. By order of the authority given Brainiac by the World Congress while this planet is under his protection, Lane and Olsen are hereby charged with sedition and insurrection. And unless you want to be charged with aiding and abetting known felons, I'd suggest you divulge their whereabouts.
Interior, Clark Kent's apartment, night. On the mantle, we see a picture frame containing a photo of Lois and Clark at a press junket. Lois picks it up, looking at it. Jimmy is behind her, his laptop set up on a table. He taps away at the keys.
I'm sending the picture of the holographic projector to every news service and paper on the net. They should have it in seconds. Hey, look at this, Miss Lane.
On computer, a news story accompanied by a murky image of the Eradicator suit leaving the burning building in LA. Jimmy reads from the screen.
Some sort of hero saved a building full of people from a fire out in Coast City. When asked for an identity, he replied, I'm back. You don't think?
No, and you shouldn't, and neither should you.
Huh. Kind of weird us being here in Mr. Kent's apartment, Miss Lane.
Best place to lay low until tonight. Nobody'd think to look for us here. Besides, I don't think Clark would mind. He won't be needing it anymore.
You can't think like that, Miss Slade. Clark may be fine.
I wish I shared your optimism.
That's something I've been meaning to ask you about. From the start of all this, you've never believed Lex or Brainiac, especially the part about their connection to Superman. How do you know it's not the truth?
Gut feeling, kid. Journo's instinct.
I mean, we know the Armada story is all bull. But what if Brainiac said about Superman was true?
Lois puts the picture frame down and pulls Clark's jacket from off a chair, holding it close to her body.
Come on, Jimmy. You're talking about Superman here.
As Jimmy speaks, Lois inhales Clark's jacket deeply. She tears up a bit.
Yeah, but what did any of us really know about it?
Not enough.
As Jimmy speaks, Lois finds a pair of Clark's glasses.
Superman and Brainiac both came from the same planet. They both have these powers. All I'm saying is, what if they meant to conquer Earth together? You know, after all, the guy was an alien.
Will you shut up already? Clark gave his life fighting for that thing he loved, this planet. He cherished the people, and you sit here throwing out this crap about how he might be in league with a scumbag like Luthor.
Jimmy looks down, cowed. Lois breaks down.
I lost everything when I lost him. And now he's not here, and I never got to tell him how much I wanted to say yes that night.
Lois has worked herself into a crying frenzy. Jimmy looks on, stupefied.
I'm sorry, Miss Slade. I didn't mean anything by it.
It's all right. It's just nerves.
You said Clark.
Huh?
You said Clark gave his life fighting that thing.
Lois freezes, a little panic on her face. She
Honey,
looks
I
at
know.
Jimmy.
I can't put that on right now.
Jimmy looks at her, shocked
will
by
help
what
you.
he sees in her face. He knows, then smiles kindly.
I'm sure you're meant to say Superman.
Lois looks at him and nods slowly. They look at one another and nod. The secret's safe. Jimmy hands Lois a remote and picks up a gym bag.
I've patched the camera in. This is all you need for broadcast. Just press this when you're ready.
You've got 20 minutes.
It's business as usual, Miss Slade. You take care of the text, and I'll take care of the visuals.
Interior, skull ship, night. Brainiac and Elron monitor the view screen. Lex enters, escorted by Misty.
We've had a slight problem. A reporter. She may have accessed information about our armada.
The charade no longer concerns me.
It's about 20 minutes outside of the city, my liege, and closing fast.
Lex looks to Misty, curiously. Interior, Clark Kent's apartment, night. Lois stands before a video camera, which is plugged into Jimmy's laptop. She points her remote at it.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille.
She presses the button on the remote, and the camera's red light goes on. Exterior, Metropolis skyline, on giant screen TV. On the giant screen atop WGBS, the visual of Lois phases in through static. Interior, skull ship on view screen, same time. Lois pops up as well. Exterior, appliance store window, same time. All the TVs show Lois as well. People stop and listen as she speaks.
Of Metropolis.
Exterior, skull ship, night. Armed LexCorp soldiers patrol the front of the building. A flash of black swoops past, leaving them gunless and perplexed. Interior, skull ship. Lex moves closer to the view screen, shocked.
For weeks, we've watched the skies, dreading an invasion from aliens, but the real invasion took place when Superman died. He was not the minion of Brainiac. He died fighting the minion of Brainiac.
Exterior, Metropolis streets, night. On a light post hangs a Maniac for Brainiac sign, similar to the t-shirt. Another flash of black whooshes by, and the sign sprinkles to the ground, shredded. Exterior LexCorp building, night. Jimmy sneaks behind a trio of smoking LexCorp soldiers and into the building. Interior Clark Kent's apartment, night. Lois addresses the camera.
I do not carry any torch that Superman may still be alive. I watched him die protecting our world one last time, but his spirit is still alive.
Exterior Daily Planet building, night. There are a pair of flags hanging outside the building. One American, one Brainiac. A black gust of wind tears through and only the American flag remains. Interior Skull Ship. Lex is riveted on Lois, nervously. Brainiac regards the screen angrily.
It's alive in those who always saw through Brainiac's lies.
Exterior appliance store, night. The small crowd gathered outside watching Lois have their coats and hair blown to the right as a black gust whips past them. Exterior LexCorp rooftop, night. Jimmy pops out of the rooftop door and rushes to the power shed. He pulls a bolt cutter from his bag and pops the lock. Interior generator shed, night. Along the wall hang a series of power grids, all matched by huge levers. Jimmy pulls a schematic from his bag, looking for the right switch.
Just keep talking, Miss Lane.
Exterior Metropolis Street, night. A couple of kids on skateboards jump a curb. One of the pairs wipes out and is about to hit the asphalt when something catches him, pulls him back to his feet, and is gone. The kid looks around to see nothing. Interior Daily Planet City Room, night. Perry and the reporters watch the TV, the ceiling hung TV.
It's alive in all of you watching this, to whom I say the Armada is a hoax.
And outside the window, something whips past, rattling them. Perry rushes to the sill and pops his head out, looking around. Interior Clark Kent's apartment, night. Lois wraps it up for the camera.
So I urge you, the people of Metropolis, go outside, look to the skies, for tonight we reveal the lie sold to you by Brainiac and Lex, because if Superman, if he were here, he would have done this for us. Since he's not, we do this for him. For Superman.
Exterior LexCorp building, night. Jimmy tries to figure out which lever will shut down the holographic projector from the schematic. He shrugs.
For Superman.
And starts throwing every lever. Exterior Clark Kent's apartment, night. Lois emerges, looking to the LexCorp building, where, floor by floor, from the ground up, the power's going off. Then she looks up at the Armada. Exterior Metropolis, night. People emerge from their buildings, looking up. Interior Skull Ship. Brainiac, Lex, and Misty watch this on the view screen. Elron manages the computer. An alarm goes off on the control panel.
The LexCorp building's power is being shut down.
Losing power?
Lex's eyes go wide. He barks into a walkie-talkie.
All LexCorp troops, quell any uprising around the buildings and get a team to the roof. Now, use of force permitted.
Interior generator room, night. Jimmy comes to the last switch.
Had to be the last one, didn't it?
He throws it. Exterior LexCorp rooftop, night. The holographic projector shuts down. Exterior sky over Metropolis, night. And the visual of the Armada shimmers momentarily, then disappears from view for good. Exterior LexCorp building, night. Lois joins the mass of people gathered, staring up at the sky. She lets out a victorious howl. Exterior LexCorp rooftop, night. Jimmy steps out of the shed and looks up, smiling. He leaps into the air, echoing Lois's victory howl. Then the rooftop door explodes. LexCorp soldiers pile out, racing at Jimmy, rifles drawn. The soldiers train their sights on him and begin firing. Jimmy dodges bullets, chased to the edge of the roof. His footing slips, and he falls, plummeting to his death. Exterior LexCorp building, night. Jimmy falls towards the crowds below, screaming, until something swoops in and catches him, 10 floors from the pavement.
You're nowhere near a pool to be diving like that, kid.
Jimmy opens his eyes to see Superman, clad in the Eradicator suit. But with the cowl-like nature of the suit's headpiece, Jimmy doesn't recognize him.
Holy shit, who are you?
Superman swoops to the ground, setting Jimmy down in a back alley.
Where's Miss Lane?
On the street somewhere. I'm supposed to meet her out front.
Find her, then both of you get to safety. This city's oppressors are about to feel my wrath.
He breaks into a takeoff position. Jimmy rushes to him.
Hey, wait.
Superman stops. Jimmy hands him the LexCorp disc.
This might come in handy.
Superman nods and inserts the disc into the suit. He takes to the skies again, leaving Jimmy staring up, confused. Exterior, Metropolis, night. People cheer at the armada-less skies, but angry mobs start moving toward exterior, Skull Ship. Crowds swarm the building and the LexCorp soldiers outside. The soldiers fight the crowds back toward nearby Metropolis Bridge. Interior, Skull Ship. Lex stares up at the rooftop skylights, seeing no armada. He shrugs to Misty.
There goes my bid for mayor. That feed only went as far as Metropolis. There's still time to contain this.
You are the one facing public furor here. Luthor, not I. Pow, as you say.
Lex glares at Brainiac and nods.
You've yet to learn the most important lesson of American history. Always have a patsy. I won't be taking the rap for this, my alien friend. You will.
Brainiac regards him curiously. Lex nods to Misty.
Shut him down.
Misty presses a button on a remote control. Exterior Skull Ship power grid, night. A red light flashes on a panel. An engineer nods. Pull the plug! A team of engineers disengage the power cables that Brainiac used to feed into the Earth's core. Interior Skull Ship. 5 LexCorp soldiers enter as the Skull Ship power dims. Brainiac looks around, panicked.
I've disengaged your power source. Learned a few things from the diagnostics scanner I'd loaded onto that rocket. Feeding off the planet's core to maintain your form? No. Lunch hour's over.
Brainiac goes into paroxysms, convulsing. Lex smiles victoriously as the alien weakens. Then, cables erupt from Brainiac's form, locking onto 5 soldiers, and then Misty, as Brainiac absorbs their energy, much as Brainiac had done in the first scene. Lex moves slightly towards his valet, but then freezes, watching wide-eyed as the group, now drained, fall to the ground as burned husks. Fully energized, Brainiac stands erect, the cables retracting.
Enough with the appetizers. On to the main course.
Brainiac grabs Lex by the throat, but Lex smiles. An alarm goes off on the control board.
We're under attack. Violent crowds have gathered here at LexCorp.
Ah, the fickle masses. How quickly one can become the focus of ire of the Vox Populi. If they access the building, they'll tear you limb from limb.
Nonsense. I'll crush these fleshy nuisances as easily as I crush you.
Powered merely by the life force of a girl and some per-hour grunts? Somehow I doubt it. However, if you holster your pistols, I'll hook you back up into the core. Then you can crush whomever you like, except your old partner. Agreed?
We will need all the energy we can get for our confrontation with the Eradicator, sire.
Agreed.
Plug him back in.
Disengage the ship. I'll teach these apes to fear their god.
That doesn't make sense. The Eradicator is within minutes of the Citadel. We should concentrate our efforts on that, not the Earthlings.
Do as I command.
Exasperated, Elrond mans the controls.
Our location matters little. The technology is coming to me regardless.
Exterior Skull Ship, night. The Skull Ship disengages from Metro Towers, taking off. Exterior sky, POV Superman, night. On a digital readout screen, we see the skull ship moving toward the distant bridge. Superman flies with the aid of the Eradicator suit.
It's heading for the bridge. Now, so are we.
I was afraid you say that.
Then you'll have to excuse me because it's been some time since I've been able to say this. This looks like a job for...
May we just proceed, please?
Exterior, Metropolis Bridge. The LexCorp troops have chased the angry mobs back into the bridge. In the distance, the skull ship approaches from the sky. Interior skull ship. Brainiac turns to Elron.
Fire.
Exterior Metropolis Bridge, night. The skull ship blasts a laser at the bridge's suspension cables. The bridge begins to snap and crumble. On the bridge, the massive crowds, including LexCorp troops, rush to the side of the bridge, hanging on for dear life. The bridge begins to fall into Metropolis Bay. But look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Superman in the Eradicator suit swoops in, grabbing the suspension cables. He pulls with all the suit's strength, trying to keep the bridge from falling. Interior skull ship. Lex stares at the screen, perplexed. Elron looks to Brainiac.
Did I not tell you, Robot? It would come to me.
I'm getting another reading from it. A biologic?
Yes, Kryptonian. It would appear the Eradicator has succeeded in resuscitating him.
Wait a second. Who?
Exterior Metropolis Bridge, night. Superman strains, holding the suspension cables. On the landlocked side of the bridge, Lois emerges from the crowd that stares up at the costumed spectacle. Transfixed, Lois shakes her head, bewildered. The crowd slides down the unstable bridge, holding onto anything they can. Superman continues to strain, as does the suit.
Amplify my voice.
The crowd runs toward the landlocked sides of the bridge. Superman's voice booms out at them as if through a bullhorn.
Please. Clear off the bridge as quickly as possible.
The bridge cleared of people, Superman lets the cables go and the entire structure collapses into Metropolis Harbor. Superman hangs in the air, surveying the crowds on the shore.
We did it. We saved them.
What's this we nonsense?
Then a laser blast shoots past them. Superman reacts. The midsection of the skull ship jettisons, becoming an independent craft. Claws jut out, grabbing the Man of Steel. Interior attack craft. Elron mans the controls. Through his windshield, we can see Superman struggling.
I've got him!
Interior skull ship. Brainiac watches the action on the view screen. Elron's voice is heard over the loudspeaker.
He's a slippery son of a...
Quickly, inject the anti-technology.
Interior attack craft. Elron punches a button on his control board. Exterior Metropolis skyline. While Superman fights to free himself from the craft, a syringe-like arm shoots from the craft into the suit, sending a charge through it. The Eradicator shuts down.
E, what's wrong?
Interior skull ship. Brainiac is delighted by what he watches. Lex is puzzled.
The technology's offline, my liege.
Excellent. Bring it to the loading bay. I shall withdraw Kryptonian from the technology personally.
Kryptonian? Are you talking about Superman? No. Superman's dead. We killed Superman.
Exterior skull ship, night. The attacked craft carries Superman in the suit to the rear of the skull ship.
Not again. Come on, man. Wake up.
Would you pipe down?
Why the hell didn't you say something?
It's called playing possum, Kal-El. I'm not from Earth, and even I know that. Diverting power from X-ray vision cells. Get ready.
We hear a surge of power charge through the suit, and Superman breaks free of the attack craft's grip. Interior attack craft. Superman in the suit peers through the windshield of the attack craft. Elron freaks.
Houston, we have a problem.
Exterior skull ship. Superman grabs the attack craft and swings it into the skull ship, puncturing the hull. Interior skull ship. Brainiac and Lex duck as the attack craft rips into the ship, spilling Elron out at their feet. The ship grows dim, and a massive power loss is heard. Exterior night sky. The lights on the ship grow weak. Interior skull ship. Lex is in a panic. Brainiac and Elron tumble toward the control board.
Lock on to that suit.
I can't. We've had a massive surge. All systems are offline.
Exterior night sky. Superman watches the skull ship falter. Then something catches his eye. Superman freezes. Near the bridge below, Lois stares up at him wide-eyed. After a long beat, Superman in the Eradicator suit moves slightly towards her. Interior skull ship. The lights come back up, full.
Power's back on, Lord Brainiac. Suit in sight.
Fire.
Exterior metropolis sky, night. From the skull ship, a laser blast striking the Superman combo. The pair go rocketing through the sky. Below, Lois panics as the mystery hero is blasted out of the sky. Jimmy rushes up to her.
Miss Slade, I think I saw...
Then Lois turns and dashes away.
Miss Slade, wait, where are you going?
I gotta find something out once and for all.
Interior skull ship. Brainiac searches the view screen fiercely.
Do not fail me, Elron. Where is the Eradicator?
The shortest damaged our detection systems. I can't get a reading.
Suddenly, an alarm sounds. On the view screen, the graphic of the tomb comes up.
The tomb's been breached. It must be them.
Go.
Exterior, Superman's tomb, night. The tomb has indeed been breached. 2 LexCorp soldiers lie on the ground, knocked out cold. The doors are swung open. The beam of a flashlight can be seen inside. Interior, Superman's tomb. Lois holds the flashlight in her teeth. She uses a crowbar, slamming at the casket lock. It gives, and she stares at the casket for a beat. She paces out. She places her hands on it.
I don't want to do it, Clark. If you're still in here, I don't think I'll be able to take it. But I have to know.
Suddenly, blinding light fills the small room. Lois drops the flashlight and covers her eyes. She peers out from behind her fingers to see Elron standing in the doorway, backed up by LexCorp soldiers.
Peekaboo.
Exterior, skull ship, night. The skull ship lands atop Metro Towers and again seals itself onto the building. Interior, skull ship. Brainiac fumes at Elron on the bridge.
What do you mean? You can't locate it.
I can't get a reading on the technology anywhere.
Then who was in the tomb?
The soldiers march Lois onto the bridge. Lex rushes her, grabbing her by the collar.
All right, Lane, what the hell is going on?
Brainiac pushes Lex to the side and faces Lois.
You are the woman from the televised call to arms.
This is the woman that held Superman's defections.
The Kryptonian?
That's what the soldiers told me. They said whenever she was in trouble, he'd be there to save her. In turn, she gave him plenty of ink in the Daily Planet.
Is this true? You harbor affection for the corpse they called Superman. I killed him, you know.
Lois lurches forward at Brainiac, but is held back by the soldiers. Brainiac is delighted and then shocked.
I take that as a yes.
His weakness all along. All I ever would have needed was this woman. Blocking out the sun. Dealing with the insufferable Lex Luthor of Earth. A waste of Brainiac's time. I could have offered the woman's life in exchange for the technology. But now...
What the hell are you talking about? Superman's dead.
Good God, when are you going to get it? 8-Man, Superman lives.
If that's true, Lex, I can promise you one thing. He's gonna kick your bald ass.
Lex rushes her, but Brainiac throws his back. motioning for the soldiers to hold him.
Enough of these games. You will be the bait that draws the Kryptonian to me, and with him comes too the technology I seek. We still have the Thanagarian snare beast in the menagerie, yes? Introduce him to the atmosphere here on Earth.
Exterior, Metropolis Street, night. The place is abandoned. There's not a soul in sight. Then the Eradicator suit crashes down, cracking the ground. The suit opens and Superman falls out on his hands and knees. The suit morphs back into the Eradicator. Superman is breathing heavy, sweating, exhausted.
You didn't see that blast coming?
I had to divert all the power from my shield so you could play hero, and now there's a circuit malfunction from the effects of that anti-technology surge. I'm going to need time to repair internally.
How long's that going to take? We have to get back out there and finish Brainiac.
Barring battles with killer spacecraft for the lifting of multi-tone bridges, 20 minutes.
I hate to say it, but I could use some time to heal myself. This is the first time in, well, ever, that I feel completely exhausted, except for that whole death thing.
You've touched on the precise factor that plagues me, Kal-El. Your life on Earth thus far has been spent as we have spent today, saving lives, battling aggressors. Yet I would imagine that after your mortal trial, you would have reevaluated your role amongst the people of Earth.
I have, actually. Before I died, I've always felt like how do I say this? A stranger in a strange land. I may look like them, but I'm still an alien. That always put distance between me and everyone else. But now I know I'm more like them than I ever thought.
In what fashion?
Before, I couldn't identify with their frailty. Now I honestly can. I've tasted mortality. It's humanizing.
Your father would be proud.
Superman regards this with interest.
You could have been a god on this world, enslaved it like Brainiac, but you never chose that path. Instead, here you sit, musing over the possibility of death, between moments of saving this planet from its oppressor.
It's an antiquated notion, but it really is better to serve than be served.
This is what marks the difference between your kind and mine. We serve because we have to. You serve because you choose to.
Then how do you explain Brainiac? He's one of your kind, but he's serving no one.
Inaccurate, Kal-El. He's serving himself. He has taken an aspect of humanity, but it's the worst one. And when a machine begins to feel, positive or negative, then it ceases to be a machine. And for the good of all, it must be shut down, as you must shut down Brainiac.
Tough talk from a guy who only yesterday thought we should find another planet.
I can only point to the bad influence you have become.
Suddenly, light down on the pair. Superman looks up, shielding his eyes. Exterior, Metropolis, sky, night. Shimmering against the sky is the holographic image of Brainiac's face.
People of Metropolis, you no longer need to fear takeover by hostile aliens. The hostile alien is here. I claim your planet as my own.
Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Metropolitans cease celebrating and stare up at the image of Brainiac.
Gone. This is a charade of the benevolent Brainiac. I have come to enslave your race. Your world has no champion to save you now. And to mark this historic night, I offer you a display of the price to be paid for rebellion.
Interior, skull ship. Brainiac pulls Lois to him.
Tonight, Lois Lane, the instigator of the anti-Brainiac call to arms, will taste the might of my fury, and she is executed for all to witness. To the menagerie,
Exterior, Metropolis Street, night. Brainiac cackles against the night sky as he slowly fades. Superman turns on the Eradicator, rising.
How are those circuits coming?
Not again.
Open up.
The Eradicator rolls his eyes and reconfigures into the suit. Superman leaps in and it seals around him.
This may be the only chance I get to say this, but thank you for everything. Up, up, and away.
Off they rocket into the night. Exterior, Metropolis skyline, night. The sky lights up anew with the image of the skull ship Menagerie. Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Jimmy and Perry watch wide-eyed as the image in the sky depicts Lois being dragged toward two huge doors.
They're going to kill her. Someone's got to do something.
Jimmy looks up, smiles, and pats Perry on the back.
Somebody is, Chief. Somebody is.
Exterior, Metropolis sky, night. The holograph is shattered by Superman in the Eradicator suit, soaring toward the skull ship Citadel. Interior, Menagerie. Two huge doors open, revealing a darkened pit. The captive Lois is ushered toward it by Brainiac, Elron, Lex, and the soldiers.
Ooh, I don't even want to know what's lurking in there. Should have kept your nose for news out of business that wasn't yours. It's a lesson you're going to learn as harshly as your ex-boyfriend.
Lois looks at Lex, wounded.
That's right. You're not going to put this in any paper. Yeah, I helped kill the Man of Steel. So what?
Lois shakes her head, teary-eyed.
Bastard.
She knees Lex in the groin. He doubles over as Brainiac rounds him to face her.
Save your energy, Miss Lane. That maneuver would not have the same result on me. Do you have any last words for the viewers of the world?
Lois looks up sharply as if she hears something. So does Lex. Brainiac notices this and looks up as well. Exterior, skull ship, Superman's POV, night. The roof of the Citadel is rushing toward us. The sound is huge. Interior, Menagerie. There is the faintest sound of whooshing, as if something is moving through the air outside, very, very fast. Lex looks up with a mix of anxiety and confusion.
I know that sound.
Exterior, skull ship, Superman's POV, night. We're getting even closer to that roof now. The sound is deafening. Interior, Menagerie. Then, through her tears, Lois smiles. Brainiac is puzzled as her smile turns to laughter.
Last words. You're dead meat, you.
Exterior, skull ship, night. Superman in the Eradicator suit explodes through the roof on the Citadel. Interior, skull ship, night. Then through the ceiling of the bridge and through the floor. Interior, Menagerie, night. And finally through the ceiling over the assembled group's heads.
Baby.
Shit. Finally.
And when the dust cloud settles, there stands the indiscernible Superman in the Eradicator suit.
Border Patrol. I hear we've got an illegal alien here.
Brainiac holds his hand up, which reconfigures into something pointy and deadly. He holds it to Lois's head.
Step out of my technology, Kryptonian, or I get painfully intimate with the woman.
Superman makes an offensive move, but is interrupted.
No, Kal-El.
Lex, Lois, and Elron look around for the source of the voice. Brainiac smiles.
I can take him.
You can't. He's rendered himself electro-radioactive. If we touch him, the power surge will kill you, even within me.
The Eradicator opens and Superman steps out. Lois tearfully smiles. Lex goes wide-eyed. Superman looks at Lois. She moves slightly toward him, but Brainiac pulls her back. Then the suit morphs into the Eradicator again, and as all look on in wonder.
It's been some time, Eradicator. But here we are again. Pride of Jor-El. and the pride of Kolu.
The killer of Krypton is more appropriate.
I have waited decades and searched galaxies, all in pursuit of this moment. And now you are mine.
It is your aim to absorb my technology and become all-powerful, I would imagine.
And they called me Brainiac.
He moves toward the Eradicator.
But aren't you worried?
What could possibly worry me?
When I attempted to interface with your Shadowcaster device, I was contaminated, temporarily shut down. What if the same thing happens when you attempt to absorb my technology into yours? What if your technology is too advanced to interface with mine?
Brainiac throws his head back, laughing. Superman looks to the Eradicator, who offers him a reassuring wink.
You think it's advanced? Irony is how primitive it is compared to your own. You have no doubt overthought on the Shadowcaster, when in reality, you should have approached it as a child's toy.
A child's toy?
Certainly. It's Earth's hardware, crossed with my own Koluan technology. Its systems are so far beneath your own capabilities that a simple binary synapse would have bypassed any contamination factor.
And they call you Brainiac.
The Eradicator quickly morphs back into the suit, grabbing Superman and hurling the Man of Steel into himself.
For this insolence, I will erase your memory banks, machine.
I'm not a machine. You are.
The suit leaps into the air, rocketing out of the Citadel. Lex looks around forcefully and sneaks out a side exit.
I want the jet fueled and standing by. Now, the pajama boy is back.
As Lex disappears unnoticed, Brainiac grabs Lois and shouts up at the ceiling.
Hear me, son of Jor-El. Your guardian may have saved your life, but he just damned 2 more to hell.
Brainiac takes Lois to the 2 large doors that end the menagerie. As the doors open, Brainiac throws Lois into a dark pit. She screams as she falls. Exterior, space. Superman in the Eradicator suit races through the outer atmosphere, heading toward the distant Shadowcaster.
What the hell are you doing? Why are we running?
Kal-El, I think I've had what's called an epiphany.
Really? Well, that's excellent to hear. But we're getting farther away from rescuing the woman I love.
Your passion is inspiring. It has taught me something I thought far beyond my ability to comprehend. I must thank you, Kal-El. You've imparted me the wisdom of a life lived in service to others.
What are you talking about?
Were it not for your insight, I'd be no better than the machine that oppresses your world, operating solely on the cold logic of what's programmed to do. But now I'm choosing to serve. Now I understand the commitment to this planet and its inhabitants, and I'm going to help you honor it.
You picked a hell of a time to tell me how you feel. How you feel? No.
When a machine begins to feel positive or negative, then it ceases to be a machine. It must be shut down or shut down itself.
The Eradicator grabs a piece of itself and pulls it off, which morphs into a silver version of the familiar S.
Take a deep breath and remember to stay in the light.
Before he can react, the Eradicator separates from Superman. He slaps the S on his black suit and lets him go, sending him hurtling earthward.
Superman lives.
The Eradicator then rockets out of sight as Superman free falls through space. Exterior Shadowcaster. The Eradicator reaches the mammoth device and links into it. The anti-technology sends shockwaves coursing through his body. He fights against shutdown. Interior Shadowcaster. Circuits blow up. Transistors explode. Exterior Shadowcaster. It begins losing power. Sections of panel begin shutting down. Sunlight begins pouring through the shafts. The Eradicator begins to shift and shape, the anti-technology coursing through his body. His form finally comes to rest on the figure we've come to know him as most. His face forms a peaceful, joyous smile. Then he explodes. Exterior, space. Superman is plummeting to Earth. Vision smash cut through his head, like all of the life we've seen him lead. Lois at Mount Rushmore, Lex on the rooftop of LexCorp, the Doomsday Battle, waking from the goo, and still he falls, coming closer to the planet. The visions continue, the Eradicator forming into a suit, catching Jimmy, the strangling tentacles of the skull ship, the Eradicator in the train station, and finally, Lois, staring up at him from the bridge. The Eradicator voice echoes through his head.
Stay in the light.
Miles above Earth, Superman fires through our atmosphere, nearing the ground faster by the second. Then, one of the stray sunbeams from the shattered Shadowcaster hits him full force. The ground races up to meet the Man of Steel as he absorbs a concentrated beam of solar energy. His face tightens.
Yeah!
Exterior, Metropolis, night. Mere yards from the ground, Superman stops falling in midair, rights himself, swoops upwards. While flying, he stretches his muscles like he's just woken up after a long sleep. He zips past the huge billboard just outside the city that depicts him in his old suit, flying over the greeting, "Welcome to Metropolis, home of Superman." A knowing smile crawls across the Man of Steel's face. His powers have returned. Superman lives! Interior, skull ship. At the control board, Elron turns to Brainiac in a panic.
The Shadowcaster is destabilized. Sunlight is getting through, and something is moving towards us at an alarming rate.
A sonic boom echoes through the skull ship.
Something's pissed.
Let the whelp come.
Brainiac takes a seat on his throne. He closes his eyes as the helm lowers over his head.
I will deal with him impersonally.
Brainiac shuts his eyes as the helm begins to whir. Interior, pit. Lois squirms about in the mire of fiberglass-looking webbing. From the darkness above, an echoey growl is heard. Exterior, Metropolis Park. The cape still hangs off the statue's extended hand. Then, a black flash whips in and out of frame, and the cape is no longer there. Interior, Menagerie. Superman bursts through the ceiling again, now wearing his cape, and through the many levels of the ship still containing the single beam of light. Interior, pit. He rockets through the ceiling of the pit, allowing the singular shaft of light to follow. Suddenly, he's struck by a high-powered stream of murky liquid from above, which knocks him out of the light and traps him in the webbing beside the struggling Lois.
Baby.
Hey, kid, how about we get out of here?
Something huge and quick drops from the shadows beyond the shaft of sunlight, striking Superman. The Stagnarian snare beast has grown. It resembles something of a cross between a squid and a spider, but very biomechanical and sleek. And now, inhabited by Brainiac's consciousness, it's extra lethal as well. Brainiac's voice is heard, hissing somewhere within the creature.
Superman.
It batters the Man of Steel, then moves quickly back into the darkness. Superman's a bit dazed.
Wait, are you all right?
I'm okay. I just wish I could see what I'm fighting.
Then the beast drops on Superman anew, its massive legs tearing at him. Superman struggles free, bolting toward the shaft of life to strengthen his powers. The creature grabs hold of him, pulling the Man of Steel back into the darkness. Suddenly, the creature's underbelly opens, setting loose 6 smaller metallic versions of itself. Superman breaks free of the beast and begins fighting the creatures off, smashing them together, crushing them in his grip. We hear Lois's shriek. Superman reacts. The micro beasts crawl all over Lois. Superman uses his heat vision to blast the creatures, which explode, hissing. Using his powers leaves Superman's a little dazed. But the TSB is on him again, its midsection spreading to reveal a primeval head, The beast brings Superman to his jaws while letting loose an ungodly screech. The pair violently tussle, the beast's head and legs rising and striking. Superman blocking and attacking. A leg shoots from the darkness and catches Superman by his throat, pinning him against the web. The beast's jaws come in close to Superman's face, preparing to gorge. We see the strain on Superman's face, the veins in his neck and his head throbbing. Then we see why. Superman uses all of his strength to stretch his fist into the just out of reach shaft of light. He makes it, charging himself. The jaws of the creature almost on his head, Superman comes across with a right hook that knocks the creature into the air. Superman crawls into the light, taking in as much as he can, and leaps up at the beast, grabbing hold of the wildly flailing creature. He flies it up and, interior menagerie, out into the full beam of sunlight.
You want to hide in a bug? I'll crush you like one.
Superman begins mangling the beast. Hooked into his helm, Brainiac convulses, feeling the pain of the beating. Superman grabs the head of the creature and pulls it off ferociously. The machine he's hooked up to explodes from the feedback, and Brainiac flees back onto his own body, throwing the helm off. He weakly tries to crawl away from the wreckage. Breathing heavily, Superman grabs a hold of him, lifting Brainiac above his head.
You destroyed my homeworld. You killed me. And you forced my friend to give his life.
You do not take lives. That is code you live by, like the Eradicator. I live.
No, he was one of the most human beings I've ever known. You're just a machine.
Superman punches his fist through Brainiac's chest and out his back. Brainiac convulses and dies. Superman drops his mangled form to the floor, where it reverts back to its most primitive form, some metal and circuitry. Interior pit. Superman flies to Lois's side.
Do I look tired? Because I feel tired.
You look a little worn, yes, but right now I have a million questions about what happened to you.
Superman pulls Lois from the web and scoops her up into his arms.
Well, maybe I can help shed some light on the subject.
Superman streaks up one of the shafts of light, Lois in his arms. Exterior Daily Planet building, roof, night. Superman sets Lois down on the roof of the building.
Give me a sec, okay?
Lois nods. Superman leaps into the air and is gone, leaving a sonic boom in his wake. Exterior, space. Superman reaches the partially functioning, sparking Shadowcaster. He begins pushing the Shadowcaster, getting up some speed until he lets it go. It whips through space until it hits the surface of the sun and explodes. The device destroyed, sunlight pours through space and, exterior Earth, all over the planet. Exterior Metropolis day. Sunlight is everywhere, filling the streets. Exterior LexCorp building day. Lex emerges from his building carrying 2 suitcases, both packed to the brim. He rushes towards his limo, looking up at the new dawn.
Aruba. Aruba's always excellent this time of year. I'll have all documentation involving Brainiac destroyed while I down daiquiris in the dunes, offering a steady stream of I don't remembers. Hell, it worked for Reagan.
As Lex reaches for the limo door, Superman lands in front of him. Lex shrieks.
Ah! Morning, Luthor. Going somewhere?
Superman, thank God. That alien cloned me like a sheep and used my double to make it seem like we were in league.
Well, you do get points for originality.
Superman lifts Lex into the air. Exterior Daily Planet building, day. On the ground, Superman lowers Lex into the midst of the police.
All right, that's it. I want this vigilante arrested now.
On what charge?
Endangering a public figure, harassment, whatever.
Well, I have a charge of my own, officers, against Mr. Luthor. A charge of espionage against the world government. Luthor utilized Brainiac for his own selfish gain and had further designs on governmental extortion.
Unsubstantiated, gentlemen. Like you fine people, I was duped by that lying alien. While I do have suspicions that Superman himself was working in conjunction with Brainiac, I can assure you that there is zero proof that I was ever anything but an unwilling participant in...
Superman tosses the police the download disk from Jimmy. He disappears momentarily and returns in a flash with a laptop, which he hands over to the police. They pop in the disk and look from the computer screen to Lex. Lex glares at Superman.
I just wanted to let you know who beat you, boy.
Superman chuckles and takes off into the air. The police stare down Luthor. The police stare down Lex angrily. Lex recoils. Exterior Metropolis day. Jimmy looks up and sees Superman winging his way toward the Daily Planet. Jimmy nods, smiling.
I wonder if Mr. Kent will be back to work Monday.
Exterior Daily Planet building day. Clark Kent walks out onto the roof, where Lois has her arms outstretched, soaking up the sun. He offers her a tube of sunscreen.
You might want to apply some sunlight. You look like SPF 14.
Pithy to the last.
Lois spins into his arms, embracing him tightly. Clark hugs her right back.
Pithy, who uses that word anymore?
Oh God, I thought you were really gone.
So did I. But I learned a few things. I know what keeps me here, what keeps me doing what I do, what kept me from accepting the grave. It's you, Lois. Superman may look out for everyone, but he doesn't belong to the world. He belongs to you. Lois wells up. And you belong to me.
I love you, Clark. Never leave me again.
I won't, babe. I won't. From now on, I'm going to try to be more man than super.
Oh, Clark, are you still dwelling on Mount Rushmore? Forget what I said. That was before the maniacal robots from outer space killed you.
Wait. You're going to let something small like that alter your opinion? You, Lois Lane, hard-bitten journalist for the Daily Planet?
See, that's one thing you have to learn, Smallville. A woman's allowed to change her mind at any given moment, especially after a bad week. Now kiss me, dead man, before I change my mind.
Must you always have the last word?
Lois is about to respond, but Clark kisses her instead, and everything goes back to normal in Metropolis. Interior Skull Ship. The metal Brainiac symbol is picked up off the floor by a small metal hand. Elrond deposits the remnant into a circuitry and looks at the camera.
I know, but I'm a glutton for punishment.
He whisks off and out through the hole in the roof. The end. Woo.
Yay.
Why is Kevin Smith so long-winded?
3 hours.
We did it, everybody.
Why is he so long-winded?
Oh man. Although I think
Now-
the hopping around, people doing the stage directions, though, like it felt like it went faster than the
Helped.
actually did.
It
Definitely
did
helped.
feel like it was going fast. I would actually have preferred to see this one than that Superman movie that nobody
This is a
saw.
great, like Superman. This is so much better than Superman Returns.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like,
yeah.
I would
So
like
much
this.
better.
They need to punch up some of the dialogue, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna try to be more man than super.
I mean, it is an early draft that he never really did get to finish.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
as funny as I would expect something from Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
How did
Like, yeah.
him writing Batman like that was like the thing that threw me off.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was
It reads
Wild.
more like Adam West than kind of Michael Keaton.
wild,
Yeah.
right? And it was supposed to be Keaton, and it's like that's
Yeah.
okay.
Do you think he stole that sunblocker idea from that episode of The Simpsons
The
where Mr.
Simpsons.
Burns does the
I
same
thought
thing?
the same thing. I actually thought it. I was like Mr. Burns does it. Who shot
Simpsons
Mr.
did
Burns?
it.
Like Simpsons did it. I totally
Yeah.
had that feeling immediately.
Kevin
I
Smith
like,
was just writing this while watching The Simpsons. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that idea.
Yeah, nobody
this is
watches
a
The
comic
Simpsons,
book.
right? No one will pick up on it. It'll be fine.
No, but I can see this as a comic book, though.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
They
Yeah,
tried
this
to
was a
do it
doing
as
the
an animated
Batman.
movie. They tried to do it as an animated movie, and Warner Brothers said no. Somebody
It's
pitched
been
it.
3 hours long.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see some cutting going here and there.
Oh yeah, there was a few points where I was like, Jesus Christ, do we need this? But I spent all day doing that. It's like, this scene doesn't need to be here. So
All right, I gotta head out, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
no problem.
Lovely.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on board. Yeah, thanks everybody.
course,
Actually,
always.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Won't keep you any
Thanks
longer.
for having us.
All right.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Talk to
Yeah.
them